Phillies on Internet 860. 9:05 p.m. San Francisco Giants taking the Pittsburgh Pirates. Giants on Sirius XM channels 89 Internet 863. Pirates on Internet 861. 9:38 p.m. LA Angels taking the Minnesota Twins. Angels on Sirius 210 XM 177 and Internet 852. Twins on Internet 856. 9:40 p.m. Seattle Mariners taking the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mariners on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 864. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. I'm Frank Trachtenberg for your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 27th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the LA Dodgers. Blue Jays on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 868. Dodgers on Internet 853. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 4:05 p.m., New York Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 857. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Oakland A's. Orioles on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 842. A's on Internet 859. 4:05 p.m. Texas Rangers take on the Cincinnati Reds. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 89 Internet 867. Reds on Internet 846. Spanish feed on Sirius 106 XM 179 and Internet 871. 4:10 p.m. Boston Red Sox take on the Chicago Cubs. Red Sox on Sirius 119 XM 180 and Internet 843. Cubs on Internet 844. 4:10 p.m. Miami Marlins take on the Washington Nationals. Marlins on Sirius 137 XM 178 and Internet 854. Nationals on Internet 869. 6:05 p.m. Colorado Rockies take on the Houston Astros. Rockies on Sirius 138 XM 182 and Internet 848. Astros on Internet 850. 6:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers face the Kansas City Royals. Tigers on Sirius 139, XM 181 and Internet 849. Royals on Internet 851. 7:10 p.m. Chicago White Sox take on the Tampa Bay Rays. White Sox on Sirius 160, XM 184 and Internet 845. Rays on Internet 866. 7:10 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the New York Yankees. Brewers on Sirius 161, XM 183 and Internet 855. Yankees on Internet 858.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
With Josh Naylor and Jose Ramirez leading the way, Xavier Scruggs from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio is impressed with what the Cleveland Guardians have done so far this season.
They're one of the more exciting teams to watch play baseball, and I think mostly because they come up in so many clutch situations, and it's been that way since the season has really started. We talk a lot about impact players. Josh Naylor is exactly that. He's one of the more underrated hitters that we have in the game. There's a confidence there that is something that everybody wants as a hitter. You can tell that he just believes in himself so much in his own approach. And you heard Stephen Vogt talking about how he approaches lefties and doing a good job with that. And that's so important because you think about Jose Ramirez, which is an MVP caliber player every year. He's got to have that type of protection. And that's something that they've kind of battled over the past few years. So it's nice to have some consistency there with Josh Naylor and what he's doing. And then the rest of the offense has been really good too. Stephen Kwan at the top of the order has been one of the more impact players as well. OPS close to 900. You got Fry doing his thing as well. Jose Ramirez is still trying to find it a little bit, but guys have stepped up in some big situations, and the pitching we knew was kind of going to be there. Even though they lost Shane Bieber, they're doing everything the right way, and they're winning in big clutch situations. That really is a sign of a team that can win the one-run games more often.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg for your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 27th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the LA Dodgers. Blue Jays on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 868. Dodgers on Internet 853. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 4:05 p.m., New York Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 857. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Oakland A's. Orioles on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 842. A's on internet, 8:59. 4:05 p.m., Texas Rangers take on the Cincinnati Reds. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 89 internet, 867. Reds on internet, 846. Spanish feed on Sirius 106, XM 179, and internet, 871. 4:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox take on the Chicago Cubs. Red Sox on Sirius 119, XM 180, and internet, 843. Cubs on internet, 844. 4:10.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet. Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam in the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd. Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck it out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on Sirius XM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up. Get up.
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. My goodness.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
We're talking college basketball on ACC Today.
Great run for NC State men's basketball. The story of this team is one I don't think anybody will forget.
They were able to accomplish a lot. They captured the hearts and the minds of the nation. DJ Burns became an absolute star nationally. I love it.
ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the Sirius XM app.
Nobody covers the National Football League like Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Get the latest news from OTAs to minicamps, all the way through training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Just looking really for, especially the guys at the top, looking for those guys to get rolling and confident that they will. But I think once they do that and once we kind of do that, things will kind of even out the way we hope they would to start the year.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the SiriusXM original podcast, Black Diamonds. Hear stories about the legends of the Negro Leagues and conversations with the all-time greats they've influenced, like 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter.
I don't care what race you are. You need to know your past. This is U.S. history. It's not just baseball history.
Hear over 70 episodes of the award-winning Black Diamonds podcast, available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
This slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone. Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball. Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays started strong on Friday night, getting out to an early lead over the Nationals, but after Yusei Kikuchi exited the game, the wheels fell off for Toronto, with Washington scoring 8 runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined en route to a 9-3 win, and the Jays now hope that Kevin Gosman can get them out of their funk. Good afternoon, everybody. Eric Smith and former Major Leaguer Chris LaRue with you, alongside host Show Ali, producer Nick Blackmore, and technical director Tom Young. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Scarborough on Shepherd Avenue, St. Clair Avenue, and on Midwest Road. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. The Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row heading into today's game, but they've made a couple of changes. Kevin Kiermaier returns from the 10-day DL. He'll start in center, while Bichette will move down in the order from 2nd to 5th. Is today the day that Toronto's offense gets rolling? They could certainly use the force. May the 4th be with you, folks. It's the Nationals and Blue Jays. The first pitch right around the corner. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every MLB, NHL, and NBA game on your phone?
3 for the win. He got it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SiriusXM app.
It's out of here!
Sports, the way they're meant to be heard. With your hometown announcers just a tap away.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
Search for your team and tap the plus sign to add it to your library. Every game, all season. Get closer to your team with the all-new SiriusXM app.
Shoot, he scores! Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The biggest events in golf are on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Good afternoon, everybody. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you, getting set for the first pitch between the Blue Jays and Nationals. Game 2 between these two teams, as, again, Washington got the victory last night, 9-3. The Blue Jays had a 3-0 lead. They then led 3-1 and then gave up 8 more to fall 9-3. It was a tough one for the Jays, giving up again 9 unanswered runs to lose their 3rd straight game, but hoping to get back on track today with Kevin Gosman on the mound. As we take a look at the Bet365 standings, download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. With the loss for the Jays, they have fallen down to last in the AL East. They are mathematically tied with the Tampa Bay Rays. Baltimore still atop the division at 21-11. The Yankees at 21-13. And Boston at 18-15. But again, the Jays now 3 below 500 at 15-18. They have gone 2-8 over their last 10. We turn it over now to Chris LaRue for today's starting lineups.
Thank you, Eric. Leading off for the Toronto Blue Jays and playing right field is George Springer. In left field, batting second is Dalton Varsho. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will bat third and play first base. In the cleanup spot and playing third base is Justin Turner. Bo Bichette will bat fifth and play shortstop. We'll get you to the game, though. The game just started.
The game just started rather quickly. We were told it was going to be 4:07 officially, but at 4:05 they're saying, let's get this thing rolling. So Chris is going to finish the starting lineups in a second. George Springer trying to start the game with a single, but can't, as he grounds it over to first, and then an errant throw to first will ultimately put Springer on second base. Nick Senzel came up with that ball with ease, but then a sloppy throw over to Trey Liscombe at first, and Springer, on the error, trots into second. That was an easy one for Senzel.
I'll get that second half of the lineup. DHing and batting sixth will be Daniel Vogelbach. Behind the dish is Danny Jansen. He'll hit seventh. At second base, batting eighth will be Kevin Biggio. And back in center field, batting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. On the mound is Kevin Gosman.
Well, in the previous center fielder, Dalton Varsho, now playing in left. He's at the plate right now, the second batter of the game for the Blue Jays. With Springer now on second, and what a start for Toronto. We'll see if they can cash in at least one, or not, if not more, make something of this in the early going. Varsho batting .227 on the season, down 1-0 in the count. Jake Irvin, the right-handed hurler for the Nationals, missed on the second one. It's 2-0.
I can't remember the last time a game started 2 minutes early.
Varsho stands in, ahead in the count again, 2-0. Irvin looks over at Springer at second, and the pitch. And that one low, it's a 3-0 count.
I give Dalton Varsho the green light right here. He's the guy in my lineup that has been hot over the last 2 weeks or so.
The pitch, the 3-0. And Varsho was getting ready to toss his bat and take a trot to first, but instead, that pitch was called a strike just on the lower portion of the zone on the inside. It's now 3-1. Again, Springer at second. And Varsho now steps out of the box. The 3-1 pitch from Jake Irvin. And that one outside. So both of the first two batters have gotten on base for Toronto. There is rain in the air. It's kind of a misty rain right now in D.C. Not impacting things yet, knock on wood. Certainly not like we saw a week and a half ago in KC with that game with the Royals and Jays.
I was about to say this is very reminiscent of Kansas City. Not a good thing for anybody involved.
Vladimir Guerrero comes up to the plate with 2 on, none out, and takes a first pitch strike from Jake Irvin.
I bet Vlad wants that pitch back. That thing was right down the middle.
First and second, none out. Guerrero hitting .232 on the season. Lets the second pitch go, and it caught the outside edge, and he's quickly down 0-2. Guerrero on a 6-game hit streak heading into today's game. Could use a big one right here. Lets a third pitch go real close, but outside, and it's now 1-2.
Well, now that Vlad is down in the count, he has to concentrate on moving those runners over, getting something to the right side, hopefully through to the outfield. but moving those runners.
And the next pitch outside from Irvin as well. Missed on the sinker. That clocked at 95. Vlad has come back to a 2-2 count. Springer at second. Varsho at first with a huge lead. And Vladdy sends one to second base. It's picked up there by Garcia. Throws over to first. And an errant throw again from the Nationals. It pulls Lipscomb off the bag, and Vladdy is safe at first. So Varsho is out at second, but advancing to third is Springer. Vladdy safe at first, and now runners on the corners with just one out.
Well, I was going to say that was a good job by Vlad running that baseball out, but he didn't really run very hard. The throw from C.J. Abrams pulled Trey Lipscomb off the bag, and luckily for Vlad, he got pulled off far enough to kind of sneak his foot in there and ended up being safe at first base, but Vlad did not run very hard to first base.
And this brings up the number 4 hitter, Justin Turner, for the Blue Jays. The right-handed hitter facing the right-handed pitcher, Jake Irvin. First pitch, no good on a fastball outside, 1-0 to Turner. Turner hitting .296 on the season, and he's going to send one into center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit and a run scored as Springer trots in. Vladdy stands on second. It's an RBI single for Justin Turner.
That's exactly what you expect from Justin Turner. He gets a pitch down the middle, and he doesn't try to do too much with it. He just hits a good line drive into center field. He's not pulling his left shoulder out. He's using the big part of the field. It's a good swing from Justin Turner right there, and he moves up Vlad to second base. 1-0 Toronto.
And now Bo Bichette comes to the plate. As I mentioned off the top of the broadcast, if you missed it, Bo Bichette batting 5th today. He's moved down in the order. That's the only major change. A lot of people have been talking about whether Springer might move or Vladdy might move, but the one move that was made by John Schneider, Bichette going down from 3rd to 5th in the order. And now Jake Irvin has missed on 2 straight pitches. It's a 2-0 count to the right-handed hitting Bo Bichette. Irvin looks over at Vladdy at second. The pitch to Bichette low and outside. It's 3-0, and Irvin is having his issues early in this game.
Yeah, he's very erratic with the fastball so far. I would imagine that Bo has the red light here. He's going to take until Irvin shows that he's capable of throwing a strike.
And Bichette thought that was low. He had already dropped his bat and was undoing the Velcro on that left shin guard. It did seem like it was low. Based on the replay we're getting from our Sportsnet TV friends as well, it certainly looked low of that zone, but Bichette stands in at 3-1 and rips a base hit to right field. It's picked up there by Eddie Rosario, and they hold Vladdy at 3rd. Bases loaded for Toronto.
And now Bo Bichette is 3 for his last 30. That must feel good. Coming into this ballgame, he was 2 for his last 29 in his last 8 games. He does a good job hitting that baseball to right field. He got the barrel to the baseball, and that's all you can ask of Bo. He's been hitting a lot of balls off the end of the bat. He's been getting jammed. He's been swinging at a ton of bad pitches.
It brings up the DH for the Jays today. The big bat of Daniel Vogelbach. And they're still hoping to get him going.
Well, I think this is a good matchup for Daniel Vogelbach. He loves facing righties. He has a great eye, and Irvin hasn't shown that he can throw that fastball for strikes as of yet early on in this ball game. So Vogie's just going to wait him out and possibly get a bases-loaded walk here.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for the Nationals, has come out to the mound. The entire infield comes in to chat with their pitcher, Jake Irvin, as well. Again, the bases are loaded with Vogelbach at the plate. He has yet to hit a home run this season, just 1 RBI, but they could certainly use a big swing right here. Even if it's not a homer, just cash in at least 1 or 2.
Absolutely. You can't take your foot off the gas here. You cannot be happy with 1 run.
Vogie has appeared in 12 games for the Blue Jays this season. Again, the left-handed bat against the right-handed pitching Irvin. And he throws the first one on a curveball, strike 1 to Vogelbach. Blue Jays leading 1-0 and threatening for more with the bases loaded here in the top of the first. Second pitch is low to Vogelbach. Missed on another curveball. It's 1-1.
That was a good take from Bogey. Curveball that started in that strike zone and dropped out. Good take.
The pitch. And that one looked low again, but they call a strike, and Vogelbach not happy about it. And we've already learned 6 batters into the ball game, this strike zone is going to be a little bit low today.
Well, we can see on the replay that ball just clipped the bottom of that strike zone, but I think John Schneider and Bogey are probably more frustrated with that call on Bo Bichette in the previous at-bat.
Vogelbach sends it to first. It's picked up by Lipscomb, and an errant throw to second base wide of the bag. It ends up in left field, and Justin Turner will trot in, as will Guerrero, and the Blue Jays have gone up 3-0. Guerrero obviously came in first, Turner right behind him, and the Nationals are playing so poorly in this top half of the first inning.
Well, the Blue Jays have been given 3 separate gifts. You have to wonder if that baseball is wet, because it is raining, drizzling just a little bit, but the Nationals just not taking care of the baseball. Lipscomb with the wide throw to Abrams there at second base, and Bo Bichette scurries to third base. 3-0 Blue Jays.
And that brings up the number 7 hitter now for the Blue Jays. Danny Jansen was still only 1 out, bases on the corners. Vogelbach at first and Bichette at third. Jansen's first pitch, he took for a ball. It's 1-0 as Irvin comes back inside now with a sinker and missed that one. It's 2-0.
And Jake Irvin has to be wondering, what do I have to do to get out of this inning?
Jansen batting .273 on the season. The right-on-right battle, and he rips one down the left field line, just foul. .26 pitches already thrown for Irvin. Here in the top of the first, the Blue Jays have already matched their run total from last night with 3 runs in the first. Jansen sends this one to center field. On the run, Alex Call can't get to it. It hits the track, gets to the wall. Bichette comes in to score, and Jansen got a hold of that one. Vogelbach stops at second base, so Call did a nice job of getting to that ball. Obviously not a lot of wheels with Vogelbach. And now, check that. I apologize. Vogelbach did make the turn and ultimately got to third base, and Jansen quickly hustled in behind and got to second base. So it'll be marked down as a double for Jansen with the RBI, and now second and third for Toronto. Kevin Biggio comes to the plate with now men on second and third, and the Blue Jays leading 4-0. The first pitch no good on a ball. The second one came in on a nice little curve there from Jake Irvin to catch the top edge of the inside corner. The inside part of that strike zone. It's now 1-1. Irvin delivers to Biggio, and that one swung and missed by Biggio on a cutter. It's now 1-2.
Jake Irvin has given up 4 runs, only 1 earned run. Not surprising. The Nationals have made 3 errors.
Second and third as Biggio fouls one off down the left field side. It's about 5 rows deep. And battling to stay alive here at 1-2.
Sorry, the Nationals have only made 2 errors.
Oh, only 2. Just 2.
But 3 errant throws. Yes. One of them didn't count as an error.
Let's just say they've played sloppy. 2 errors, 3 errors. They just have not looked sharp, to say the least. Biggio swings and misses. It was a little bit high in the zone, but he went after it, and he sits down. Jake Irvin earns the second out on his first strikeout of the game, and the Jays will bring Kevin Kiermaier to the plate.
And there's still 2 big runs out there on second and third.
Kiermaier back from the 10-day DL, playing in center field today. The left-handed hitting Kiermaier. He showed bunt for a second and pulled back. I can't imagine he'd be dropping one down with 2 out.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe. First pitch, ball from Irvin on the curveball at 78. Irvin over 30 pitches thrown already here in the top of the first. Kiermaier takes the second pitch high in the zone. No good. It's 2-0.
Well, Kiermaier probably thought about taking that with him and drag bunting. The infield is playing way back, almost on the outfield grass, and he is fast enough where he could beat that out.
Jansen at second. Vogel back at third as Kiermaier sends it opposite field, but an easy one to get underneath for Jesse Winker out in left field. He makes the grab, throws the ball into the stands, and the Nationals will come to the plate in a moment as the Blue Jays get 4 in the top of the first to lead 4-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball. Kiermaier going back to the wall. He leaps and he made the catch! On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
First inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Kevin Gosman takes to the bump for the Blue Jays as he will see the Nationals hitters for the first time in this ball game, bottom of the first, and Toronto has handed Gosman a 4-0 lead. C.J. Abrams to start it off for Washington, the left-handed hitting shortstop. Looks at a first pitch strike from Gosman on the fastball at 91. Abrams hitting .280 on the season. And the second pitch, also a strike. Abrams didn't swing, and a quick 0-2 count for Gosman. And Abrams sends it to first base, handled by Guerrero on a ground ball, picks it up, trots over the first steps on the bag, and there's one down.
So I guess you're not going to mention Kevin Gosman's new addition.
I was going to let it sit for a little bit, but if you want to mention Kevin Gosman's new addition, you go right ahead.
I've just never seen Kevin Gosman with a mustache before, so I'm a little bit surprised by it. Looks good on him, though.
Sure. Hey, whatever it takes at this point, right? Whatever it takes. Something's got to give for this team. 2-8 over their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. If getting a little bit of a duster is going to turn your fortunes around, then you go for it, man. Gosman coming into the ballgame with a 1-3 record and an ERA approaching 5. You know what? You grow whatever you want to grow, man. He's down in the count right now, though, to Nick Senzel, as the first pitch was a ball and the second one just came in at 91 and a ball as well. 2-0. Tried to catch the outside edge. I thought he got it, but nope. It's now 3-0.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking of with that mustache is usually a player would add something like that if he was struggling, but in Kevin Gosman's last game against the Dodgers, he went 7 innings.
And he comes inside and gets his first strike. It's a good point.
So this must just be a team thing.
Yeah,
he wants his team to get going.
Davis Schneider's going to be going, hold on a second. Wait a second here. That's my thing.
It is not that thick.
Well, it will be if they keep growing them. And the hope is you grow the mustache, you start winning. The more you win, you got to keep the stash. What a grab by Vladdy. Senzel just reached out and slapped at a pitch. Sent a foul ball down the first base side, and Guerrero over the shoulder sliding makes the grab in foul territory.
Well, the hardest part about that play was Vlad was looking up, and the drizzle is coming down from the sky, so he has to fight the rain. Yeah, that was a tough play. That was a very tough play. Good play by Vlad.
So Guerrero has recorded both of the first 2 outs in this bottom of the first inning. It brings up Luis Garcia, the left-handed hitting second baseman for the Nationals, with 2 down. Blue Jays leading 4-0. And that pitch catches the bottom part of the zone. The second one into Garcia. It's now 1-1. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue from the Timber Mart broadcast booth on a Saturday afternoon tilt in D.C. with the Blue Jays leading 4-0. Jansen wants it up. Gosman, though, goes inside low. It's now 2-1. Garcia hitting an even 300 on the season. The pitch comes in, and Garcia swings and misses on a splitter at 83, and now 2-2.
His split has been very sharp early on. A lot of downward movement. He's throwing it starting down the middle and then breaking off the plate.
Tried to go low again. Garcia wouldn't chase. That thing almost in the dirt from Gosman. It's now 3-2. Garcia came off the bench last night for a pinch hit home run that really ripped the game open. The 3-run shot gave Washington the lead, and they never looked back en route to a 9-3 victory. The 3-2 pitch to Garcia. He slaps at it, sends it high in the air, and it's going to be into the stands just over the Blue Jays dugout. In fact, it hits the dugout, bounces up, and a fan makes a nice, relatively easy grab off the ricochet.
That was too easy. I'm not giving him credit.
$4-0 Blue Jays leading in the bottom of the first. Kevin Gosman steps off the mound for a moment. Stretches. Now steps onto the rubber. The pitch to Garcia. And it's low. And he earns the pass as Luis Garcia will trot down to first base.
Well, that fastball right there was just a little bit below the strike zone that we've seen today already. Even though we've seen a lower strike zone, that one just a hair below that.
Joey Meneses comes to the plate, the number 4 hitter for the Nationals. And the first pitch comes inside from Kevin Gosman. Righty versus righty in this pitcher-batter duel as Meneses has a man on with 2 out. The 1-0 as Gosman comes set and delivers. That one low as well. Now he's kind of low in the zone quite a bit as well, just like we saw from Jake Irvin in the first.
Yeah, Gosman's just a little bit erratic right now with his fastball. He's found his split. His split has been good so far, but his fastball, he's being a little bit erratic. Hasn't really found that release point yet.
Gosman delivers again low. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight balls as Joey Meneses is trying to keep this inning alive. 2 down. Bottom of the first. Blue Jays leading 4-0. And the 3-0 pitch in for a strike at 92. Meneses the DH today after playing at first last night. The 3-1 pitch foul down the right field side. Springer chasing, but it's going to go at least a couple of rows deep. And somebody makes the grab down there after it bounces around a little bit. And now Gosman's got a chance to get the Blue Jays out of this inning with a 3-2 count. And Luis Garcia on first. This first inning has taken about 20 minutes thus far after the Blue Jays went through 9 hitters in the top of the first. Gosman misses again low, and it's back-to-back free passes, 2 straight walks to keep the inning alive for Washington.
Yeah, he's really struggling to find that release point. Danny Jansen's target was actually elevated above the strike zone, and Kevin Gausman missed below the strike zone. That's a big miss.
So Jesse Winker comes to the plate. Didn't start last night, but did get into the ball game, came off the bench. He's the left-handed hitting left fielder for the Nationals, hitting .250 on the season. And he's looking out at Kevin Gosman right now saying, hey, your mustache, I got something to show you. He's got that thick, dark beard, Jesse Winker. Staring down Kevin Gosman right now. And the first pitch in for a strike on a fastball at 94.
That's important for Kevin Gausman. Getting strike 1 early in the count. Now he can go to work with the split finger.
Gausman has thrown 22 pitches thus far. Ahead in the count, 0-1. He looks over at Garcia at second. The leg kick and the delivery. Tried to catch the inside edge, but didn't get it. It's 1-1.
Winker does have a thick beard. Not unlike yourself. His is a little bit darker.
I just need a little more salad in the back, though. I only wish I had that kind of flow. The 1-1. Gosman missing again low. Nice grab there in the dirt by Jansen. Still a light rain coming down in D.C., but nobody seems too fussed about it in the stands. I always use the fans as a gauge, right? If they're scrambling for umbrellas and hoods and hats and everything, nobody seems fussed, so I got to think we're all right now. Tomorrow, it might be a different case, but I'll leave that till tomorrow. The 2-1 pitch. Gosman delivers, and it's ripped to second base, and a nice grab on a hot shot from Kevin Biggio to get the Jays out of the inning. So Toronto's lead still stands 4-0 as we will head to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
An American tradition for 150 years.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
And you can hear the Run for the Roses live on Sirius XM.
And it is going to be Leach to win the Kentucky Derby.
Join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for Down the Stretch with Dave Johnson. Then at 2, Steve Bick is live at Churchill Downs for the pre-race show. And at 5 Eastern, hear the 150th Kentucky Derby on NBC Sports Audio Channel 85 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' third national title.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Second inning, is brought to you by Bet365. Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Top of the second, and it's top of the order. We'll do it again, almost like the game just started, as the Blue Jays went through 9 hitters in the first inning to put 4 runs on the board and lead 4-0. George Springer down in the count now 0-1 after the first pitch fastball from Jake Irvin. The second one slapped to right field by Springer. That's going to drop in for a single for Springer. And a nice job of hitting right there from the Blue Jay right fielder.
Yeah, you said it. That was a fastball on the outside part of the plate. And although George Springer got it off the end of the bat, he still had the right idea, trying to drive that baseball to right field. It just drops right in front. of Eddie Rosario in right field, but a good approach there, a good swing, and I think that's the takeaway there. It's not how hard he hit the baseball, it's the fact that he had the right idea.
Dalton Varsho up again, the number 2 hitter in the lineup today. He has moved up in the order as Bichette has gone down, and thus far hard to argue with what the Blue Jays have done today with, again, 4 runs in the first inning. Looking for more right now as they have the leadoff man on with Springer standing on first, and now a 2-0 count to Varsho with the changeup missing for Irvin well inside down in the dirt.
And like I said in the first inning, do not take your foot off the gas. I think manufacturing this run at first base, putting the runner in motion, especially because everything is wet. It's still drizzling just a little bit. And the Washington Nationals haven't taken care of the baseball very well today.
Varsho looks at the next pitch, the 2-0. It caught the outside edge. Now 2-1. Varsho hitting .227 on the season. Looking to move around Springer if he can. He earned a walk in his first at bat. And an inside pitch fouled down the first base side. It'll be 2-2. Bring it with Springer as well. He got on an error in the first inning, then got the single just moments ago. That's got to feel good for him because he has struggled with his offense too, to be on base twice. See if Varsho can move around Springer right now. He swings at that 5th pitch and slaps it into the stands out towards left field, and a wild ricochet off the seats.
But yeah, you said it about Springer. I think that he was supposed to be the fire starter. He was supposed to be the guy that generated runs and put pressure on the defense, but you have to get on base to be able to do that.
Well, and certainly the Nationals concerned about him as they throw over to first, trying to keep Springer honest at first base. He does have 4 stolen bases on the season, so there's still a little bit of juice in those legs.
Well, if he was having a good season, he'd probably have 8 to 10 stolen bases. More, right?
Varsho fouls one back again into the net behind the plate. Still battling away here at a 2-2 count. Over 40 pitches thrown already now for Jake Irvin, the National starter. The right-hander struggled to find his rhythm in the first inning and didn't get a whole lot of help from his defense either. Already with 2 errors in this ballgame, the Nationals had a sloppy first inning. And Varsho just ripped a base hit to right field. A nice job of hitting by Varsho there as they are jumping on Jake Irvin, and now 2 on and none out here in the second.
And just like he's done so often recently, he fouls off tough pitch after tough pitch, and then he gets a mistake right there on the cutter from Irvin, and he drills a line drive into right field. A good piece of hitting, but he's kind of taking a page out of the book of Justin Turner. Just fight off all the tough pitches, and then finally you'll get a good one.
Blue Jays leading 4-0 in the top of the second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes to the plate and fouls off the first pitch. Guerrero grounding into a fielder's choice in the first. Ended up standing on first and eventually came around to score. Guerrero slaps at the second pitch, fouls that one down the right field side. It's now a quick 0-2. Toronto already with a ton of options tonight, or a ton of opportunities, I should say, with a 3 for 7 mark in terms of runners in scoring position, and a chance right now for Guerrero with Springer out on second. Ground ball to second base, picked up by Garcia. They throw to second to get one, so Varsho is out, but then dropping the ball on the transfer is C.J. Abrams. So again, Guerrero will be safe at first.
Yeah, the second gift that was given to Guerrero tonight, or today, that's the second time that he's hit a ground ball to second base and gotten some help from Abrams. He drops the ball there. He made an errant throw in the first inning, and Vlad is standing on first base yet again.
So still only 1 out and a man in scoring position as they moved Springer 90 feet over to third. Runners on the corners for Justin Turner. The right-hander delivers. Irvin missing outside. Turner takes that first one. It's 1-0.
There's a huge hole on the right side of that infield. Trey Lipscomb is holding on Vlad at first, and Luis Garcia is shaded towards second base. I wonder if Justin Turner is going to try to hit that ball to right field.
Turner had a single in his first at bat. Slaps at this one, the second pitch, foul down the right field side. With that single, the average has gone back up over 300 at 303 in real time. The update for Justin Turner, who has certainly played very well for the Blue Jays in his first season in Toronto. Top of the second, Jays up 4-0. Irvin, the right-hander, delivers to Turner. He sends it to short. Picked up there by Abrams. The toss over to Garcia to first on the double play. And Washington gets out of a jam to end the second inning. But the Blue Jays still lead 4-0 as we go to the bottom half of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Jordan Romano saves the game for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We get set to start the bottom of the second inning. The Blue Jays leading 4-0 after scoring 4 runs in the first. Any coincidence? May the 4th, Jays with 4 on the board? Come on now.
Well, I want them to get a few more.
All right. Oh, hey, 14 would be good as well.
Or 24.
Hey, why not?
We can keep going.
Well,
let's not get greedy, though.
Kevin Gosman, 34. That's the number on the back, of course. If they score 34 runs, I'll shave my mustache, my beard, and eat my hat. 4-0, Blue Jays leading the Nationals here in the bottom of the second as Keibert Ruiz comes to the plate. The switch hitter, the catcher for the Nationals, trying to get things going. And he's ahead in the count, 2-1.
But you did mention when we were talking before this game that you haven't been clean shaven in 20 years.
At least, yeah.
That's a big deal for you.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see it. I have no jawline. Gosman just missed on a fastball. 3-1. He was struggling to really find the zone in the first inning, and we'll see if that continues here in the second. He says, take that, Eric Smith, as he paints the corner on that one on the outside edge. It's 3-2.
Yeah, and his fastball velocity still isn't where he probably would want it. That last fastball was 91 miles an hour.
The 3-2 pitch. Jansen wanted it up. Gosman left it over the middle of the plate, but it's tracked down in center field. I guess right center with Kiermaier on the run. Makes the grab, and nice to have Kevin Kiermaier back in the lineup.
Well, Ruiz hit that baseball, and when you look at a hitter's reaction to contact, you usually can judge how far that baseball is going to go. He reacted like he hit that thing in the third deck, and Kevin Gosman just camps right underneath it in center field. That was a weird reaction from Ruiz.
Gosman with the pitch. Painted that outside edge and got the strike on the splitter. 0-1 to Eddie Rosario. The left-handed hitting right fielder. Came off the bench last night for the Nationals, but he's got the start today. hitting under 100 on the season at 086, and he's down 0-2 in the counts. Gosman just came inside and painted the edge again on a fastball at 93. The 0-2. Rosario slaps at it, sends it out to second base, picked up by Biggio, but the speedster Rosario gets down the line quickly, and he beat that throw by about 3 feet.
Yeah, right off the bat, I knew that would be a tough play for Kevin Biggio or Bo Bichette. Eddie Rosario runs very, very well, and this grass is wet. You have to pick up a wet baseball and throw it over to first base to get a speedster like Rosario. Not a good chance of getting him out.
So a man on now with 1 out. Alex Call, the center fielder, comes up and shows bunt, and he kind of sends it. Did that actually make it up over the net? I think it did, into the stands. Thought it was just kind of popped up into the net. It actually made it up and over, so not exactly the most proficient bunt attempt there for Alex Call. The 0-1 from Gosman coming in a moment, with again Rosario over at first. The pitch, and it's low. Rosario takes off, and he is in there easily. Jansen didn't even throw it. Rosario slid but didn't need to. And now a runner in scoring position for the Nationals, Eddie Rosario, with his 3rd stolen base of the season.
Well, Kevin Gosman didn't really give Danny Jansen much of a chance. No slide step, kind of had that big slow leg lift like he normally has with nobody on base, and Eddie Rosario takes advantage of it.
1-1 count to Alex Call. Swing and a miss, as he seemed like he was gobbled up by that splitter. And now Gosman ahead in the count, 1-2.
Yeah, that was a weak swing from Alex Call. If I'm Kevin Gosman, I'm going straight back to that pitch because he did not look good on it with that swing.
Gosman looks at second and now delivers, and a swing and a miss. And they sit down Alex Call. He got a piece of it, but Jansen squeezed. And it's the first strikeout of the game for Kevin Gosman, bringing up the number 9 hitter in the Nationals lineup, Trey Lipscomb.
And they did go back to it. A good split finger there. Caught a little bit too much of the plate. They probably wanted to throw it a little bit lower than that. That one was right down the middle. But Alex Call, you can tell he just has no idea.
Jansen was setting up on the outside edge, and Gosman came inside high. So it seems like they're still trying to get their location and signals together, Jansen and Gosman. Now down in the count, 1-0 to Trey Lipscomb, who's playing first base today. With the Nationals down 4-0 in the ballgame, Toronto with 4 runs in the top of the first inning. Second pitch, low, outside. It's a ball, 2-0.
He's still a little bit erratic with that fastball. I would mix in a split here, especially with that open base over there. You don't want to fall behind 3-0 to the number 9 hitter.
Gosman looking at Rosario at second. Turns, wheels, and tries to pick off Rosario as Kevin Biggio snuck in there. Safe at second. Rain still coming down. In Washington, a steady drizzle, but nothing too crazy yet. Knock on wood. We cross our fingers. Nobody wants to see a delay. Again, Gosman looking over at second. The pitch now to Lipscomb, in for a strike. It's 2-1. Trey Lipscomb hitting .260 on the season. Still ahead in the count at 2-1. Gosman has thrown 41 pitches and not quite through 2 innings yet. That one fouled off by Lipscomb, and now we're at 2-2 with 2 outs in the second.
And the rain is starting to come down just a little bit harder. That makes it hard for infielders when they pick up that baseball, ground ball, to make a good throw because they're picking up a wet baseball.
Yeah, I mentioned I always use the fans as a gauge. Jackets are coming on. Hats are being pulled down. The 2-2 pitch fouled away down the third base side by Lipscomb. And we'll get a new baseball for Kevin Gosman.
Gosman is having no problems throwing that split finger wherever he wants it. Fastball still a little bit erratic, but that split finger is on right now.
Again, checking the runner Rosario at second. The 2-2 pitch. Hit to third. Picked up by Turner. Whips it over to Guerrero. Off the bag, Vladdy. But he places the tag on Lipscomb to get the out and get the Jays out of the inning. Toronto still leading 4-0 as we will head to the third. It's Toronto Blue Jays baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the third inning. Third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Scarborough on Shepherd Avenue, St. Clair Avenue, and on Midwest Road. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. The curveball in for a strike against Bichette. Leads off the inning. The shortstop swings at the second pitch, sends it to second, picked up by Luis Garcia, who throws out Bichette at first, and there is one down.
And again, Bo is just making not great swing decisions there. He's ahead in the count, 1-0, and he swings at a curveball that's up in the zone, almost out of the zone. Yes, he hit the baseball hard. That's not what I'm questioning. It's the fact that he swung at that pitch ahead in the count when he should be waiting for a fastball on the inner part of the plate, something that he can drive.
So Daniel Vogelbach comes up to the plate for the Jays. The DH this afternoon for Toronto. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the first inning. Takes that pitch inside, but that caught the inside part of the zone. It's now 1-1. And the third pitch down in the dirt on a curveball, clocked at 80. Jake Irvin missed, and he now trails in the count 2-1.
Couple ponchos in the stands.
Uh-oh.
That is not a good sign.
Well, I'll open up the weather app in a second here and try and play meteorologist. See if we can get a sense of if we need to be worried or not. I'm seeing plenty of beers and hot dogs in the stands, so I don't think people are too worried about spending their money on a game that could be washed for a little bit. Vogelbach, a dribbler off the end of the bat, charging in for it. Senzel picks it up, and with due respect, a relatively easy toss to first to get Vogelbach. Not exactly a speed demon down the line as he's thrown out at first, and there's now 2 down.
So what are you saying? You don't like beer with rainwater?
No, what I'm saying is what I'm honestly saying is I'm too cheap to spend money on beer and hot dogs if it's pouring and this might get washed out. I'm going to say, hold on a second. Let's wait until we know that we're going to be here for a while, and then let's go get some, like if my wife or kid is asking fruit, hold on, pump the brakes a little bit. Because we might be going. We don't need to spend this money. Just wait a second. Jansen steps into the plate now for the Jays. And a first pitch ball on a curveball. Second one missed high on a fastball, and quickly ahead in the count 2-0 for Danny Jansen, the Blue Jay catcher. Reached on a double in his first at bat. And now the sinker comes in for a strike for Jake Irvin. It's 2-1. Jansen, no batter's gloves, sends one to short, picked up by C.J. Abrams, throws it to first and gets Jansen. So a quick 1-2-3 for the first time in this game. The Nationals sit down the Blue Jays, and we head to the bottom of the third with Toronto leading 4-0 on Toronto Blue Jays baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. When it comes to home improvements, Timber Mart has the expert advice and the right products at the right price, so you won't find yourself out in left field on your next DIY project. Game on, home team. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Bottom of the third, Nationals trailing 4-0. And we're back to the top of the order for Washington with C.J. Abrams grounded out in his first at-bat. And a first pitch strike, a swing and a miss. 0-1. Gosman delivers on pitch number 2 outside, but Abrams chased it and is now quickly 0-2.
And he has chased 2 straight split fingers. I would imagine they'd go back to another one here.
We'll see if you're right. Gosman delivers and down in the dirt. Didn't go after that one. The count now at 1-2. 47 pitches thrown for Kevin Gosman. Pitching with a 4-run lead. All 4 coming in the first inning for the Blue Jays. They threatened it again in the second inning, but weren't able to cash in any. As Justin Turner got up to the plate with runners on the corners and grounded into a double play back in the second. But you'll still take the 4 that you got in the first. The 1-2 pitch to Abrams, just outside and low. It's now 2-2.
And Kevin Gosman missed his spot with that fastball again. He's struggling to hit his spots just with that fastball, though. He's been good with the split, but he missed his spot by a lot on that last pitch.
Gosman comes back inside, and Abrams reaches down and slaps one into right field. It'll be a leadoff single for the left-handed hitting shortstop. The Nationals have got one on.
That was a good job from Abrams going down and getting that baseball. That split finger there was almost on the dirt, and Abrams is able to go down and golf it through that hole on the right side of that infield. He's a good young player.
That brings up Nick Senzel, the third baseman, with a man on first. Senzel popped out in his first at bat back in the first inning. Gosman throws over to first. It's bobbled by Guerrero, but stays right around the bag, so easily picked up by Vladdy. Abrams not going anywhere. Abrams certainly does have speed, so Gosman concerned about that. Going to keep an eye on the young athletic player. As he now turns and fires the pitch to Senzel. First pitch in for a strike. The fastball at 91.
And they're obviously concerned with Abrams over there at first base. That was a slide step by Kevin Gosman. You don't really see many of those.
He's got 7 stolen bases, Abrams. So they don't want to see him turn on the Jets. Gosman just missed inside. And they look down to first to see if Senzel offered at that one. And first base umpire John Lipka says no. And that was clean. The 1-1. Gosman delivers. It's knocked down third, foul. Just past Justin Turner. Picked up by the ball girl down there, who's going to hand it off to a young Nationals fan. And now Gosman had in the count 1-2.
C.J. Abrams did take off on that pitch, so you have to be aware of that. Again, Kevin Gosman, he only has that one slide step, and then every other pitch since then has been that big, slow leg lift that he normally has.
Gosman delivers. Swing and a miss. And Abrams did take off. He's safe at second, but the strikeout by Senzel. So a man in scoring position for the Nationals. But Toronto and Gosman getting the out. The second strikeout of the game for Kevin Gosman.
I think if you're Kevin Gosman and the Blue Jays, you're okay with trading an out there for C.J. Abrams stealing that bag, especially up 4-0.
It brings up Luis Garcia, the second baseman, the left-handed hitting Garcia. Stares in at Gosman, who fires a fastball at 92 and an 0-1 count. Garcia with 14 runs batted in this season. He's got a man in scoring position right now, standing out at second base, C.J. Abrams. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Abrams kind of dancing out at second as Gosman throws in another fastball, this one missing low and inside, just under 95 miles an hour.
Normally I would think that C.J. Abrams might try to swipe third base, but with a lefty up, probably not.
Bichette trying to sneak in behind him, trying to keep him honest, and Gosman delivers another strike to Garcia. And now ahead in the count at 1-2.
Yeah, Danny Jansen just has a clear lane to third base. Makes it a lot easier for a catcher without a right-handed batter up there. I'd imagine he doesn't go.
Rain still coming down at a pretty steady pace in D.C. And the 1-2 pitch is fouled away by Garcia. Again, Jansen was trying to come up high, and that one was left right over the heart of the plate.
But that velo there was good. That last fastball was 96. We've seen a ton of 91s from Kevin Gosman today. I always wonder why he can just bump it up whenever he feels like it. Why doesn't he just live up there?
Gosman looks over at second, checks Abrams down in the dirt, the pitch, and a great block by Danny Jansen to save Abrams from potentially moving over to third. Sounds like Jansen is going to get the day off tomorrow with Alejandro Kirk set to start and catch Alek Manoah, who will be getting the start for the Blue Jays tomorrow. Gosman with a 2-2 pitch to Garcia. And that one slapped and fouled down the third base side.
I have to say I am excited to see Alek Manoah. I've been closely following his rehab assignments, and I've heard nothing but good things, especially with the velo, the sharpness of the slider. Those are two things that I didn't see at all last year. The slider was just a kind of a spinning slider with gradual break. Has to be sharp if Alek Manoah is going to be good.
Abrams takes off, and Garcia slaps at that one foul. So you wondered if he might go. He did right there, Chris. Abrams, the speedster, who just swiped his 8th bag of the season moments ago, and he was looking for another, taking off to third.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he timed up Kevin Gosman, because like I said, with a lefty up in the batter's box, it gives Danny Jansen or any catcher the open lane to make a good strong throw to third base.
And Gosman now steps off the rubber and kind of looks over to second base before stepping back on and getting set for the 2-2 to Garcia. Gosman's thrown 61 pitches here in the bottom of the third. Obviously not all 61 in the bottom of the third. And another strikeout for Kevin Gosman as he got Garcia to go after that splitter. Back-to-back Ks in this inning. And now 2 down as Gosman delivers his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Yeah, he's got a ton of feel for that split finger. That one right there was very good. Started right down the middle, drops out. It looks like a good pitch to hit for Garcia, and then just swings right over the top of it.
Joey Meneses comes to the plate. Still a man in scoring position with Abrams out on second, in the first pitch catches the outside edge, the lower part of the zone. It's an 0-1 count. Meneses walked in the first inning. Looking for his first home run of the season still, but does have 14 runs batted in. It could be 15 here if he can cash in Abrams out at second. Gosman again in the dirt. Nice block by Jansen as he missed on the slider. The count stands at 1-1. Gosman takes a moment, stretches out, and gets the foot set on the rubber. Again, the rain still coming down in D.C. Gosman with the 1-1 pitch. Meneses fouls it off down the third base side. Support baseball programs for girls in your community by getting your Jays Care 50/50 tickets. Proceeds support programs like Girls at Bat, focused on getting more girls into the game. Head to bluejays.com/50/50 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Gosman with the 1-2 pitch to Meneses. Meneses knocks it down to third. Picked up by Turner. Throws it to Vladdy. Again off the bag with the throw, but Guerrero slaps the tag, and the Blue Jays get out of the inning. And Toronto still leads 4-0 as we go to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Advent Health 400 from Kansas Speedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it up, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Kevin Biggio is going to start off the 4th inning for the Blue Jays. 4th inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. The left-handed batter, Kevin Biggio, the second baseman, getting set for the pitch from Jake Irvin. And it's a ball high in the zone. The 1-0 count now for Biggio. He struck out in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Batting .213 on the season. Second pitch catches the outside edge. 1-1. And now Biggio fouls off the third pitch. It's 1-2. Irvin to Biggio inside, missing. 2-2. Biggio kind of the ultimate utility guy for the Blue Jays. He plays all over the place. And why do I bring that up? Former Blue Jay Darnell Coles is Washington's hitting coach. And he was the ultimate utility guy. Darnell played just about everywhere. I mean, I'd have to double check to see if he actually pitched at any point, like in some crazy blowout game, but I swear I saw that dude at every position at some point when he was in a Blue Jay uniform.
Well, I'm sure he did. Most utility guys know how to throw at least a strike. They might not be the best pitchers, but they know how to throw strikes. That's part of the job description.
Biggio slaps a foul ball down the third base line. It was in foul territory inside the stadium, but Nick Senzel couldn't catch up to it, and it's not going to matter as Biggio just swung and missed and struck out for the second time in this ballgame. 2 strikeouts for Jake Irvin. They've both come at the hands of Cavan Biggio.
Yeah, Cavan Biggio just hasn't really looked great the last 2 at-bats. Kind of lost. Even that last pitch there, swung at a pitch that was way outside. Shouldn't be swinging at something like that. Probably 3 balls off the plate.
That brings up Kevin Kiermaier, the left-handed hitting Kiermaier. Back-to-back lefties for the Jays. In fact, Toronto tonight against the right-hander Irvin with 4 lefties in the lineup. Kiermaier, Biggio, Vogelbach, and Varsho. Kiermaier swings, sends one down the third base line, foul into the stands, and it's a 1-1 count. Blue Jays leading 4-0, top of the 4th. Unless my eyes are escaping me, I think the rain has stopped in D.C., at least for now. High in the zone, but swinging at it. Might have been on the edge anyway. Kiermaier swings and misses at the cutter. It's now 1-2.
Well, just look at the crowd. Does the crowd have a beer and a hot dog in each hand?
I don't know. I see a dude wearing an Expos hat, yawning with his mouth wide open and not covering his face. That's what I saw.
Well, there's a ton of Expos hats, ton of Expos jerseys.
A ton of big dudes yawning.
Well, probably that too.
Not exactly an exciting game if you're a Nationals fan right now, as they're down 4-0. Kiermaier slaps it out to second, picked up on the ground by Garcia, throws over to first and gets Kiermaier, and there's 2 down. Back to the top of the order we go with George Springer, who's been on base twice tonight, or today, reached on an error in the first inning, and then had a single in the second. Springer swinging at the first pitch, fouls it back, and towards the first base side it kind of floats over and into the stands, and Springer down on the count 0-1.
He just missed that pitch from Irvin. It was a fastball right down the middle, and he's a guy that loves to ambush, loves to jump guys and swing at that first pitch. Irvin got lucky there.
Irvin over 70 pitches thrown now, comes inside, and they're going to give him that strike. Springer shaking his head, doesn't like it. And now down 0-2 in the count. Outside, no good. Blue Jays leading 4-0. Lost the first of 3 against the Nationals last night, 9-3, trying to bounce back today. The 1-2 pitch, no good. High and outside, it's now 2-2. Despite the loss last night, the Blue Jays have the best record in terms of interleague play for American League teams since 2023. They're 35-20, even with last night's loss.
That's a first-place team.
In fact, they have more wins than the Dodgers, but the Dodgers at 34-18 with a better winning percentage. But again, the #1 record for American League teams. Springer fouls that one back, and it's going to be up and over the net, over the backstop, and some fan just, I was going to say, he dropped the ball on what looked like a pretty easy catch. 2 other fans right there, and they kind of just gave it to the guy. Not like it was a kid.
There's nothing you like more than a good play by a fan.
Yeah, that was not a good play. So, I mean, to me, I'd be taking that thing off the ground saying, sorry, dude, you dropped that thing, man. Not my fault you don't have hands. Springer, even in the count at 2-2. Irvin approaching 80 pitches, the delivery low and outside. His 79th pitch here in the 4th inning. And now Springer battling back to 3-2 and trying to get on for the man on the on-deck circle, Dalton Varsho.
I think one of the guys that was actually fighting for that ball in the stands had a Leaf jersey on.
Oh, really? Speaking of which, we'll get to that in a second with the out-of-town scoreboard, but there might be a big game tonight. Springer rips one over to third, picked up by Senzel, throw to first high, and they're going to say Springer is safe at first. It pulled Lipscomb off the bag the throw, and then Springer dove into first and he didn't really dive. He touched the bag with his foot and then fell afterwards, and they're going to call Springer safe at first.
Well, again, any ground ball during a game like this where it's drizzling, I think he's out. They might challenge this, but any ground ball is tough for somebody to make a good throw because the ball is wet. Have you ever tried throwing with a wet baseball in all your years of baseball?
Yes.
And it's horrible. You can't. You saw Justin Turner has made 2 errant throws with the help of Vlad at first base. I guess they're not going to take a look at that.
I'll tell you what, when Eric Smith was at short or third for Notre Dame High School, there were no errant throws, man. I don't know what you're talking about, LaRue.
Watching that replay, I'm telling you, I think George Springer's out at first base, but they're not challenging.
The Nationals did challenge a play last night and lost it relatively early in the game. And maybe that's why Dave Martinez is a little bit gun-shy to use his challenge early in this ballgame, especially trailing 4-0. Otherwise, they should get you on the payroll because you've had like a perfect record so far this season. The 1-1 pitch to Varsho with Springer on first. And it's low in the dirt.
I would love to be the Gil Kim of the Washington Nationals. Gil Kim is the guy you always see on the phone, and John Schneider's giving him the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
It's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah.
Probably worth the paycheck. Varsho ahead in the count now, 2-1. Irvin comes set, takes a breath, whips over to first, trying to keep Springer honest as George dives back into the bag. Irvin taking his time. The pitch is in there on the curveball. Pulls even in the count now at 2-2.
Yeah, you could see Dalton Varsho kind of tilt his head. He wants that pitch back. That was a curveball right down the middle. A pitch that he could easily do damage with.
Varsho with a walk and a single this afternoon. Looking for more right now against Springer on first. The 2-2 pitch, and it's fouled away by Varsho. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for details. Always devilishly good. We'll give you a couple of scores in a moment as Varsho let that one go low in the zone, and now 3-2. How about the one score that's not even registered yet? It's an 8 o'clock puck drop. Leafs in Boston, Game 7 between Toronto and the Bruins. Top of the 10th, White Sox leading the Cardinals 6-5. Varsho fouls another one, but this one might still stay in the playing area, and it does. Down on the left field line towards the stands. Winker makes the grab, and the Jays sit down. They still lead, though, 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center. Or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and launches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the fourth inning. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you as the Blue Jays lead 4-0. And the leadoff hitter this inning, the left-handed hitting left fielder, Jesse Winker, sees Kevin Gosman come inside with the pitch. It's a 1-0 count. Missed on that fastball at 90 miles an hour and back with an outside fastball. Caught that outside edge at 92. It's 1-1. Winker lined out in his first at-bat back in the first inning. He's got the eye black on a overcast gray day.
Did you see the president's race?
I didn't. I had my head down doing some work.
I guess I was not doing any work.
No, you don't need to. It's all upstairs for you. I'm too busy trying to, make sure that I've got all my little stats written down and I'm scorekeeping. It's busy over here, man. So I use a pencil now.
These presidents are gigantic.
Who won it?
They're elongated presidents if you've never seen it.
Did Lincoln take it or no? Do you know?
I don't know who won because they had a huge Darth Vader helmet on.
Oh. Well, it's of course May the 4th today. And it's Star Wars weekend in Washington. They've been doing Star Wars themed giveaways and whatnot all weekend, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And Kevin Gosman just struck out Jesse Winker to start this fourth inning. I was trying to come up with something fancy or fun for Star Wars, but I couldn't think of it. So we'll just call it a strikeout, the fourth of the game for Kevin Gosman. .71 pitches thrown. Pitching a shutout thus far after his Blue Jay teammates spot him a 4-zip lead with 4 runs in the top of the first inning. Keibert Ruiz comes to the plate now. And as he flew out to center in the second inning in his first at bat. The 0-1 pitch down low, missed on a splitter, 1-1.
I guess that mustache is working.
Yeah, whatever it's going to take, man.
He's got the mojo.
Now you said that everybody might be growing one. You were at least theorizing it's possible. I don't know if we've.
Well, I've seen a lot of people with it.
Yeah, enough of them to say that it's a thing.
I think it becomes a thing when the broadcasters start having a mustache.
Well, what are we going to do?
When you do it after having not shaved for 20 years, that's when it's really meaningful.
Well, okay, let's see if we can get the Schulmans on it, though. If Dan and Ben start growing like a mustache or a beard, then we know it's real. Maybe Joe Siddle as well. Caleb Joseph, Jamie Campbell.
I don't know if it's getting that far.
No?
No.
Well, we might be the only double-bearded broadcast crew in baseball. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that. Line drive, hot shot to first, picked up by Vladdy. He's got a beard, and the Blue Jays have 2 outs.
And I guess a mustache. Does it count? Does it count? Do you have a mustache if you have a beard, or is it just a beard?
I think it's a beard.
Just the whole thing is a beard.
Yeah, because who are we talking about? Who was it last night? I'm already brain farting on who. Who's got the
Kikuchi.
Was it Kikuchi?
Yeah, he looked like Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, he had the Lincoln because he shaves the mustache off. We're going to have to get Yusei to start growing in that stash if the rest of the team is doing it. 2 outs here in the fourth inning.
You got a long way to go.
Yeah?
Well, he's got nothing.
A little stubble up there. I mean, it's not like he's a grown man. He'd probably take a couple days to put that thing in. Quickly ahead in the count now, 0-2. Eddie Rosario. Speaking of no mustache, he's got the chin strap. Trying to stay alive here And Gosman misses outside 1-2.
And Gosman is really starting to hit another gear. He's starting to locate that fastball just a little bit better. And of course, that split finger is still nasty.
Rosario, the left-handed hitter, the right fielder for the Nationals this afternoon, got on base in his first at-bat and now swings and misses. And a couple of Ks in this inning for Kevin Gausman as the Blue Jays still lead 4-0. We head to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Formula One Miami Grand Prix is on Sirius XM.
Here come the lights. Miami Grand Prix gets underway.
It's one part spectacle, one part race.
Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Hamilton couldn't hold him off.
It's the Miami Grand Prix.
This feels like a battle for the ages already.
Pre-race coverage starts tomorrow at 3 Eastern on ESPN Extra, Channel 81 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
That race, that was the best race I've ever seen.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Advent Health 400 from Kansas Speedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with heart so big it shows. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. starts off the fifth inning for Toronto, and the pitch comes in high from Jake Irvin, still in the ball game. And Guerrero ahead in the count, 1-0. Irvin has settled down after that first inning, but I've got to start wondering if this might be the last we see of him in this inning, as the pitch count is certainly rising. He's just under 90 pitches thrown now.
Yeah, he's thrown 88 pitches, but they actually gave him 0 earned runs. Initially, it was 1 earned run and 3 unearned ones, 4 total, but now they've given him 0 earned runs for those 3 errant throws in that first inning.
Guerrero now behind in the count after fouling off that last pitch, 1-2. And he gets under this one, sends it into right center, but it's going to stay in play on the track, making the grab. It's the center fielder, Alex Call, and Guerrero sits down. 1 down for the Jays.
Well, Vlad just missed that pitch. Fastball right down the middle. He tries to drill that ball to the opposite field. He tries to hit it to right center there, but just gets underneath it, and Alex Call settled underneath it and makes a catch.
Justin Turner now comes to the plate. 1 for 2 this afternoon. Nobody on, as Vladdy just flew out to start this fifth inning. And coming inside, high and inside, Turner holds back. The count stands at 1-1. Blue Jays with 4 runs on 5 hits and a 4-0 lead. Swing and a miss from Turner on a fastball at 94 from Jake Irvin.
And the rain is starting to fall yet again. It's kind of misty right now, but it's getting pretty hard.
Irvin delivers. Turner slaps at it, sends it foul down the first base side. Turner still down in the count, 1-2, and the next pitch comes in down in the dirt, well outside. Turner holds back. It's now 2-2. Top of the 5th inning, the 2-2 pitch. This time he goes down the third base side with a foul ball. As Turner continues to battle, trying to get something going for the Blue Jays. Might have heard something there on that last swing. He's kind of checking out his bat right now, wondering if there might be a little bit of a crack in it. He now flips it around, holds the barrel, and taps the handle on the ground. And he seems satisfied as he flips it back around, grabs the handle, and steps back into the box. Jordan Weems warming up in the Nationals bullpen, and Irvin just struck out Turner on an outside pitch. They say that Turner did indeed swing at that pitch. I thought he held back. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a replay yet. It didn't look like he swung from here. But that's not a pitch that Justin Turner normally swings at. A fastball down and away off the plate by a lot. And we're getting a replay here. Yeah, he did go.
The first base umpire, John Lipka, rang him up and then said, yes, indeed, you went. So Turner sits down. And that brings up Bo Bichette, the number 5 hitter this afternoon. Swings on an inside pitch, the second pitch. It's now 1-1. That was the third strikeout of the game moments ago. Justin Turner sitting down, the third strikeout for Jake Irvin.
Jake Irvin just threw his 100th pitch of the game.
So you would assume this would be his last inning, again with Jordan Weems, the right-hander, warming up in the Nationals bullpen.
This might be his last batter.
We'll see if Bichette can get on. Maybe start a little 2-out rally for Toronto, leading 4-0 here in the top of the 5th. Well outside. And Keibert Ruiz with both of his palms kind of pushing towards the ground, telling Jake Irvin, settle down, settle down. The 2-1 to Bichette. And Bichette rips one towards left field, but it's going to be foul. It actually bounces off the padded railing of the stands and into left field. So Jesse Winker's going to pick it up and toss it into the stands. And now Bichette stands back in the box with the count sitting at 2-2.
Yeah, Bo Bichette missed a double there by about, I'd say, 6 or 7 feet down that left field line.
Top 5 Jays leading 4-0. Bichette punches one kind of off the handle of the bat down the right field line, heading towards the stands, and a young fan reaching out might have gotten the way of Eddie Rosario, who was charging in, and the fan dropped his glove into the playing area. I don't know that Rosario was getting to that, but I also think he kind of pulled back a little bit, seeing that youngster. It looks like maybe about a 8-10-year-old that was reaching out looking for a souvenir, and Rosario pulled back at the last second. The kid dropped his glove, and it's new life in the lungs, in the bat of Bichette. In fact, that ball might have actually hit the glove of the young fan, and hence the reason it dropped and fell into play. The 2-2 to Bichette. He punches another one down the right field side. And that fan,
I think he just got a baseball.
I was going to say had the nerve, but he's young, he doesn't know. Had the nerve to even ask the ball, but hey, can I get that one too?
And he's also wearing an Expos hat, as Eddie Rosario just bopped him in the head with his glove playfully and then gave him that baseball.
The 2-2, a wild one, well outside from Irvin, and now Bichette ahead in the count, 3-2, looking to see if he can get a free pass. That young fan getting a lot of love on the TV broadcast now, especially in D.C. Not quite the Bartman, right? Bichette fouls one, first base side, and still fighting to stay alive here, Bo Bichette. Bichette stares at that pitch. He thought it was outside. Again, he was reaching down to take off his shin guard. And did he just get tossed? I believe he did. John Schneider coming out of the dugout in defense of his shortstop. And that looked like it was a very quick trigger from Jonathan Parra, the home plate umpire. Schneider did not like that call on the pitch nor the toss. And unless there were some serious magic words spewed by Bo Bichette. Or maybe it was the helmet toss. Either way, he's out of the ball game. But the Blue Jays will head to the bottom of the 5th, still leading by 4. It's Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tonight, the second round of the NBA playoffs get underway in Denver.
Got a strip by Cat. Cat races to the rim and jams it with the right hand.
At 7 Eastern, can Karl Anthony Towns and the upstart Timberwolves stay unbeaten in the postseason?
Just got to play the game of basketball that we've been playing this whole year.
Or will Michael Malone and the defending champion Nuggets get another win at home to start the series?
This is the #1 defense in the NBA. I think our guys are ready for that challenge.
It's Game 1, Timberwolves and Nuggets. Tonight at 7 Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
On Backstory, the PGA Championship, the mysteries behind Rory McIlroy's last major title a decade ago.
This is a crazy finish at Valhalla.
It was certainly very different.
And how Bob May went toe-to-toe with Tiger Woods in his prime.
Yes, you may!
Listen to Backstory, the PGA Championship, Tuesday, May 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
Bottom of the 5th. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa into the ballgame now for Bo Bichette. IKF at short with Bichette getting tossed moments ago in the top of the 5th. Blue Jays leading the Nationals 4-0. Alex Call starts things off here in the bottom of 5 for Washington. 0 for 1. Struck out in his first at bat.
Well, the thing that I noticed in the replay with that Bo Bichette situation is as soon as Ruiz caught that baseball, Nationals catcher Bo Bichette looked back and said something to Jonathan Parra, and then as soon as he finished saying something, it was quick. He grabbed his helmet and slammed it on the ground, and I think that was more the nail in the coffin for him. It was slamming that helmet on the ground. Jonathan Parra, I think when you show up an umpire like that, you have to get tossed.
Call grounded one foul down the third base side. Next pitch came in, the 0-2 from Gosman. Just missed outside. It's now 1-2.
And I don't know if it was the frustration because Bo Bichette thought that was a bad call, or it's just frustration from the season that Bo Bichette is having.
It might be a little bit of both, right? And he was the only one to really be adjusted in the lineup. In this ball game today, he was moved down to number 5 in the order. A lot of fans and media have been calling for changes or switches, whether it be Bichette or Springer or Vladdy. And Bichette batting 5th today, prior to getting tossed, was 1 for 2, but he struck out and then was ejected. And again, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has come into the ball game to play short for the Jays. Bottom 5 with that 4-run lead. Kevin Gosman still delivering to Alex Call, the 1-2 pitch. And again, it's fouled off by Call.
And like we've seen so often this season with Kevin Gosman, the velo is ticking up just a little bit. The later in the ball game he's gone, the velo seems to creep up just a little bit.
That last one at 95 on the fastball. We'll see what he brings right here with, again, the count at 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got Call to chase after that one. And Call is down again, his 2nd strikeout of the game.
Well, Alex Call obviously was thinking something off speed there. Kevin Gosman blows that 94-mile-an-hour fastball right by him, middle. That thing was thigh high, perfect pitch to hit, and it just gets blown by Alex Call.
1 down here in the 5th. People scrambling for those hats and jackets and ponchos again as the rain seems to be a little bit thicker. Kind of a steady mist, but maybe more thick than that. Hasn't really seemed to impact the game to this point, except for maybe some of the throws coming from the Nationals more so than the Jays. Trey Lipscomb comes to the plate.
Justin Turner's made a couple of errant throws with help of Vlad Guerrero.
Toronto. Come on now. Inside pitch to Lipscomb after the first pitch strike. Gosman missed on the splitter there. It's 1-1. A high kick from Gosman. Low and inside, but swinging was Lipscomb. He couldn't come up with that one or catch up to that one. And now Gosman ahead in the count, 1-2. 91 pitches thrown. Gosman delivers. A swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kevin Gosman. The injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead in the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prera will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Got a report for us? I think I know where you're going to go on this one.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious.
All right.
Alek Manoah will start tomorrow for the Toronto Blue Jays. And there is no word on who will be coming off of the roster to make room for Alek Manoah. I guess we'll just find out tomorrow. But I'm excited to see him make his comeback with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Back to the top of the order after the Trey Lipscomb strikeout. Kevin Gosman throws a fastball. Two of them actually to C.J. Abrams to get ahead in the count, 0-2. Again, that steady rain drizzling down. Abrams trying to fight to stay alive in this inning. Gosman tried to come back inside, missed. Low and inside. It's a 1-2 count. Can he strike out the side? In fact, it's now been 3 straight innings with 2 strikeouts in the third, 2 strikeouts in the fourth, and now here 2 more in the fifth. Can he make it? 3. Abrams fouls that one off down the third base side, 1-2.
Abrams does a good job fouling that baseball off. That was a great pitch down and away in that strike zone, 95 miles an hour. Telling you, Kevin Gosman has thrown 96 pitches and he's just hitting another gear.
With 7 strikeouts, he's allowed only 2 hits to the Nationals. Washington with no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors as Abrams chops one over to second base, picked up by Bichette, over to Vladdy at first, and the Jays get out of the inning. 1-2-3, the Nationals go down on to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bases loaded. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Getting set to start the 6th inning. The Blue Jays leading 4-0. 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance. Insurance with a heart so big It shows. Jordan Weems, the right-hander, into the ballgame now for the Nationals. So the day is done for Jake Irvin, who gave up 4 runs in the first inning. 5 hits total to the Jays. He would stand to take the loss. As Weems now delivers to Vogelbach. And he misses on the first pitch. It's 1-0. And Vogie rips one to second, and an easy grab on a soft little liner to Garcia. There's one down. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue in the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Danny Jansen steps to the plate with one down here in the top of the 6th. Weems delivers, and low and outside, it's no good. Back-to-back days, the Nationals wearing those 3rd jerseys, the City jerseys.
City Connect.
City Connect with the gray, with the white and pink lettering, with the cherry blossom flowers on them. As Weems comes back with his second pitch, just catching the outside corner. It's now 1-1 to Jansen. Now Jansen sends one foul down the third base side. It's 1-2.
And you've already told us that you don't like the floral pattern.
I said I don't love it.
Well, you don't.
I would prefer it as a Hawaiian shirt, not as a baseball jersey. Right?
Have you noticed the subtle floral pattern in it as well?
Yeah. It kind of looks like a bed sheet. High and outside on the 4th pitch to Danny Jansen. It's now 2-2.
How does it look like a bed sheet?
I don't know.
Like a bed sheet that you've like sweated? Is that why?
It's got like, aren't bed sheets like floral patterns sometimes? I don't know. Mine are a solid color. I don't know. It's the first thing that popped in my brain. Inside, Jansen kind of dances out of the way. Weems missed on that one. It's now 3-2. Jansen battling back, trying to earn a free pass here. See if he can get on base here with one down in the 6th. Fouls one back into the net behind the backstop. Still at 3-2. The St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard in a delay in the bottom of the 10th with the bases loaded. St. Louis at home trailing Chicago 6-5. Bottom 7, no score between the Rockies and the Pirates. The 3-2 to Jansen fouls off another one. It's down the first base side and into the stands. Just underway in Cleveland. It's the Angels and the Guardians in the top of the 1st. Later on tonight, on the rink, on the ice, Game 7 in Boston between the Bruins and Maple Leafs.
Can we go back to that delay for a second?
Sure.
Would you rather be in this delay here where it's 6-5 in the bottom of the 10th, or the delay that we had in Kansas City where you're waiting 4 hours?
Give me a delay in the bottom of the 10th.
And then it gets canceled. That's the worst part. If we waited 4 hours, then it gets canceled.
That was brutal. I did feel it for you and Ben that day. Danny Jansen just took one low to earn the free pass as he trots down to first. Weems gives up the walk. He got Vogelbach to start the inning, but just walked Danny Jansen. So now a runner on here in the 6th inning for the Blue Jays. It brings up Kevin Biggio, who has struggled today. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. The left-handed hitting Biggio facing the big righty. Weems on the mound for Washington. Jordan Weems came in place of Jake Irvin. Biggio stares at that second pitch. First one was a ball. Second one caught the outside edge. It's now 1-1.
Yeah, and Kevin Biggio's first couple of at-bats today, he just looks like he's not seeing the ball very well, swinging at pitches that he normally wouldn't swing at, especially pitches outside of the zone.
Blue Jays leading 4-0. Swing and a miss from Biggio. And now Weems ahead in the count, 1-2.
And even there, it was kind of a late decision to swing. He was late, and it was an off-speed pitch. It's not like he's getting blown away by a fastball. It's just an awkward swing.
Looks over at Jansen at first, comes set, and delivers to Biggio. And that one right in there froze Biggio, but there's no doubt about that strike. Caught him with the slider, And for a third time in this ball game, Cavan Biggio sits down. And he went down swinging in the first two, but that one caught looking.
Well, yeah, with 2 strikes, you have to protect there, especially on a slider that's over the heart of the plate. That was on the outside third of the plate. Normally, Cavan Biggio is so good at fouling those pitches off, but right there, he just stands there like a statue and watches it go by for strike 3. No argument there. That was clearly a strike.
Well, if you're going to stand like a statue, DC's the place to do it, right? 2 down now in the 6th inning with a man on first. It's Jansen as Kevin Kiermaier comes to the plate. The left-handing and hitting Kiermaier playing in center today, back from the 10-day DL. Nice to see him back and healthy and on the field for Toronto. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Weems comes set and delivers. Kiermaier swing and a miss. Got a piece of it into the glove of Ruiz, who squeezes. It's now 1-1. The pitch. Swing and a miss again from Kiermaier. And got a piece of that one as well, but he's now down in the count 1-2. Nate Pearson and Brendan Little warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen. Top of the 6th. Toronto leading 4-0. All 4 coming in the first inning. Weems to Kiermaier, and he chased it high. Swing and a miss. He sits down with the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Weems to end the 6th. We head to the bottom half of the inning. Jays on top by 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, I'm James Corden, and I'm so thrilled for you to hear my show, This Life of Mine. Join me every week for incredible conversations and never-before-heard stories from the biggest stars in film, TV, fashion, music, sports, and more. Each week, we'll be talking about the people, the places, the possessions, music, and memories that have made them who they are today. This Life of Mine with me, James Corden. You can listen on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Stars, Channel 109, or listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app. You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Bottom of the 6th inning, Blue Jays still leading 4-0, and Kevin Gosman still in the ballgame. He has thrown 97 pitches, and the first batter he faces here in the 6th is the number 2 hitter in the lineup for Washington, third baseman Nick Senzel, the right-handed hitting Senzel, 0 for 2 in the ballgame with a foul out and a strikeout. How long is the leash for Gosman? Now throwing 98 pitches after that first one is in for a ball. And the second one inside, 2-0.
I would imagine 105, so maybe depending on how long he pitches to Senzel, maybe this is his last batter. Or maybe they're going until somebody gets on base and they'll bring somebody in.
Gosman catches the outside edge on the third pitch. Fastball at 90. Good for a strike. It's now 2-1 to Senzel.
But the only reason why they probably would push him further is because of last night and what the bullpen did last night.
And we'll update you on that in a second for those that don't know or forgot. Next pitch comes in for a strike as well. Another fastball clocked at 91. And it's now 2-2. Nice battle back here from Kevin Gosman. The 2-2 to Nick Senzel. Low and in the dirt. Jansen picks it up and tosses back to Gosman.
Jansen's done such a good job blocking baseballs today. He's just getting worn out back there.
Derek Law, the right-hander, warming up in the Nationals bullpen. We'll see if we see him in the 7th. The 3-2 pitch, and it's in for a strike. They caught Senzel looking, and Gosman has been delivering. He now has 8 strikeouts, with 7 coming in the last 3 1/3.
Well, Senzel clearly was thinking off speed there. That was a very hittable pitch on the inside half of the plate. A 91-mile-an-hour four-seamer. And Gosman catches Senzel off guard there with that fastball, sneaks it right by him.
That brings Garcia to the plate. Luis Garcia, the left-handed hitting second baseman. Moments ago, Chris was talking about what happened last night. Well, you're asking what happened? Yusei Kikuchi was throwing a pretty solid ball game, pitched 6 innings, and left the game with a 3-1 lead. And then Toronto's bullpen just dropped the ball big time, literally and figuratively. Gave up 4 runs in the 7th, 4 runs in the 8th, en route to a 9-3 loss for the Jays, one that Toronto certainly looked to not quite have in hand, but certainly they were in control, especially with Kikuchi on the mound. Gosman now quickly ahead in the count as Garcia goes down 0-2, missed on an outside pitch. A little bit low from Gosman, now 1-2.
I think there were some questions after the game, and you could tell that John Schneider was frustrated after the game with the way he was speaking, and I'm not going to go into details about it, but he was very frustrated. You normally don't see those types of conversations with John Schneider. He's very politically correct.
Garcia slaps at the 4th pitch, and it fouled off his leg back into the glove of Danny Jansen, so we'll do it again at 1-2.
But I think there were some questions about why didn't Jimmy Garcia come into the game in the 7th and pitch 2 innings, and why didn't you do things like that? But you can't throw Jimmy Garcia 2 innings. You have to trust other guys in your bullpen. You have to trust Eric Swanson. You have to trust Trevor Richards. You have to trust especially Tim Meza. He's been good for a long time. So I think you just need to find that bridge guy. We talked about this after the game, that those bridge guys are very important.
The 1-2 to Garcia, slaps one foul again down the left field side and into the stands. Still 1-2. Gosman now throwing 108 pitches. It looks like Pearson is ready in the bullpen if they choose to go with the righty.
I'm almost certain this is his last batter. Getting up to 110 pitches.
Gosman delivers. Jansen again wanted it high, but Gosman came down low.
And on his 109th pitch, he just threw the baseball 97 miles an hour.
Fastest of the game, I believe.
Yes, sir. He does that quite often. As a starting pitcher, I never did that. I just went 100% from start to finish. But Kevin Gausman is so good at building up.
And Gausman throws one in the dirt. Nice take there from Garcia. Didn't offer at it at all. 2-2. Bottom of the 6th inning in D.C. The Jays leading 4-0. The pitch to Garcia low and outside, and he's battled back now to 3-2. Luis Garcia had the 3-run shot last night that gave Washington the lead. After they trailed 3-1, his bat made it 4-3, and they never looked back, earning the victory. The 3-2 pitch, Gosman. Garcia slaps it past Turner, diving at third. It's into left field. And the Nationals have a man on with 1 out, and that will likely be it for Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, you could see the frustration on Kevin Gausman's face. Obviously wanted to finish that inning, but John Schneider's coming to get him. He's going to Brandon Little.
So with this pitching change, the Blue Jays will have to stand in the rain for a little bit. With 1 out in the 6th, Kevin Gausman departs, having given up only 2 hits and a 4-0 lead. And I believe it's actually going to be Brendan Little checking into the ball game and not Nate Pearson. So we will clean that all up for you in a moment as we go back to baseball control with Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Eric. And before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, don't forget, we do have Jays Talk later on. Daniele Franceschi is here in studio with me here at Baseball Control. We will take your calls and your text after the final out in D.C. 590-590, name and location is where you can text us. The People's Text Line is always open. And once this game is over, I will throw out the numbers to call. All right, let's check that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard in Stanley Cup playoff action. Round 1, only 2 more games to go. One tonight, one tomorrow. Tonight, of course, Leafs-Bruins Game 7 at TD Garden in Boston. Will the Leafs move on to the second round? Will the Bruins avoid another 3-1 collapse? Puck drop goes just after 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC after the game is over. Win or lose, JD Bunkus, Justin Bourne, and Sam McKee have Leafs talk for you on the radio, on YouTube, and Sportsnet Plus. An update as well from Boston. Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman saying Austin Matthews does have a shot to play tonight. Winner of this series moves on to play the Florida Panthers in the second round. Tomorrow night, we do have the final game of the first round. Golden Knights at Stars Game 7. Winner moves on to play the Colorado Avalanche in the second round. Puck drop tomorrow night goes at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And the second round actually does get going tomorrow as well. Hurricanes at Rangers starting prior to Game 7 in Dallas. Hurricanes at Rangers starts at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And you can watch that one on Sportsnet. That is the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action we go. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue.
All right, thanks very much, Show. We continue on here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Little is into the ball game, and he will face Joey Meneses, the right-handed hitting Meneses. Still in search of his first home run of the season. He's the DH this afternoon for the Nationals. Brendan Little in 2 games this season with an ERA over 11.5. Missed on the first pitch. Second one comes in, catches the bottom part of the zone, and it's now 1-1.
Well, Brendan Little, obviously, in his first game, he gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs to the Dodgers in just an inning and a third. But his second inning was very good against Kansas City, pitching 1 inning and 1 strikeout.
And he just came back with another strike, painting that outside edge. It's now 1-2. Meneses 0 for 1 in the ball game. He did walk back in the first inning. And there's a man on first. That's Luis Garcia, who had the single to left field moments ago. 1 out here in the 6th. Meneses swing and a miss, and Little sits down, the first man he faces.
You'd have to assume that Brendan Little is very pumped up right now. That heart rate is probably screaming. He's only pitched in 3 big league games in his entire career, and he's coming into a big spot here. 4 runs isn't an overly tight game, but you have to remember the game last night where the bullpen imploded and gave up 8 runs.
And he comes high and inside on Jesse Winker, the left fielder. Left on left battle right here. Winker dances out of the way. It's 1-0.
So you'd have to imagine that there's a ton of pressure on Brendan Little right now.
By the way, Brendan Little, mustache. We might need to get a flow chart soon and start tracking this thing. Little comes back down Main Street on a sinker and pulls even in the count at 1-1. Little looks in at the sign from Jansen. Garcia over on first. Little has a look, comes set, and the delivery to Winker. Winker slaps one down the left field side, missed it, and he's kind of frustrated, slaps his thigh, and he's now down on the count 1-2.
Well, that fastball was thigh high down the middle. You can see why he's so frustrated. Although it was 94, got some good velo on it from a lefty.
Chris LaRue and Eric Smith in the Timber Mart broadcast booth on a Saturday afternoon, getting into the Saturday evening now, with the Blue Jays leading 4-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Little again looks over at first, and the pitch, the 1-2 down Main Street, and he absolutely froze Winker on the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for the reliever Brendan Little, and that's got to feel great. He's got a little strut in his step as he heads to the dugout with the Blue Jays leading 4-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
How can Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano improve on his already iconic entrance from the bullpen? Tim Meza and Eric Swanson had their own thoughts.
Hear me out. We shoot you out of a cannon. Picture this. Gate opens and you ride in on a moose. One word, roller skate. Super trendy right now.
Romano's thoughts?
I appreciate the ideas, but I got this.
On Monday, May 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
So that's a no on the moose?
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down his second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning. Blue Jays still leading 4-0 again. All 4 coming in the first inning, as the Blue Jays are hoping to snap out of a 3-game skid with a victory, but we still have a few innings to go here. Jays with those 4 runs on 5 hits. Washington, no runs on 3 hits. And the first batter of the inning, George Springer, slaps one over to third on the ground, picked up by Nick Senzel, and he throws out Springer at first, 1 down for the Jays. Derek Law is now throwing for the Nationals, and that one pitch, that's all it took to get Springer to ground out Law, the former Blue Jay,
for a short period of time.
First pitch to Dalton Varsho, in for a strike as well. Got him on the cutter. Varsho today 1 for 2, a walk and a single, hitting .232 on the season, and he's going to send this one into right field, and it falls in for a base hit toward the line for Dalton Varsho. A wide turn at first, but then running back to the bag, and the Jays have a man on with 1 out here in the 7th.
A tough pitch from Law. That was a curveball down almost near the dirt, and Dalton Varsho does a good job going down, and I think he hit it off the end of the bat, but golfing it into right field. He thought 2 for a second, but then put the brakes on about a third of the way to second base and scurried back to first base.
So Varsho standing on first base now with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up, and he grounds one into the hole between third and short. Abrams couldn't get to it, and quickly coming around second and getting to third. Talk about aggressive base running from Dalton Varsho. What a job by Varsho.
Yeah, that was a great play. That play is right in front of him, so he doesn't need anybody to tell him to take that extra bag, but he gets a good jump off the bat of Vlad Guerrero, and you could see that because the grass is very wet out there in left field, and you can see as soon as that ball hit the grass, it slowed down tremendously. And Dalton Varsho is so smart. He sees that, and he knows that he's going to be able to take the extra base, and he does pretty easily.
So now runners on the corners for Justin Turner. First pitch, in for a strike on the cutter from Derek Law. Turner today 1 for 3. Does already have a run batted in. That came back in the first inning when the Jays scored 4. And Turner just slapped one foul down the third base side, and down on the count 0-2. Varsho on third and Vladdy on first. Top of the 7th inning. A 4-0 lead for the Jays. They would certainly love to get at least one, if not a couple more right here. Law delivers, and Turner slaps at it foul down the right field side. Looney Dogs Night presented by Schneider's. Join in at the ballpark on Tuesday, May 21st for a night of fun, including our hot dog teeter-totter. And of course, $1 hot dogs. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/looneydogs. We were there last Tuesday when the hot dog count came in just under 50,000, and that was a season low. Talk about low, that one high. The pitch from Law, and it gets away from the catcher Ruiz. So Vladdy heads over to second.
That is a big play for the Toronto Blue Jays. If Justin Turner can put the bat on the baseball and hit it out to the outfield somewhere, Blue Jays can potentially score 2 runs now.
Second and third, just 1 out. Turner down in the count, 1-2. Law delivers, and a swing and a miss for Turner. He sits down for the second straight time, the strikeout, and there are 2 down.
That's something you don't really see that often from Justin Turner. He kind of flails at that pitch. A curveball down in the zone, out of the zone, almost ending up in the dirt. But Justin Turner, usually so good at fouling those pitches off or even taking those pitches, kind of just flails at it wildly.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa comes up to the plate now with 2 out. This is his first at-bat of the ball game. Came in to replace Bo Bichette after Bo got tossed in the 5th for arguing strikes. After he struck out, he turned and quickly got lit up by Jonathan Parra, the home plate umpire. So again, the first at-bat for Kiner-Falefa. He's down 0-1 in the count to Law. Swing and a miss on the second pitch, and it's now 0-2.
Are you surprised by that reaction? I'm not. That's been building up for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. I think you said it well. Frustration today, but more frustration with the season. I think you were bang on with that. We'll see if IKF can do something right here. 2 sitting out there for him. Down 0-2 in the count, though. And a swing and a miss. It's into the dirt. They're going to have to throw it to first to get IKF, and they do indeed record the out, and the Blue Jays waste an opportunity with runners in scoring position. Still leading 4-0, though. Toronto on top as we go to the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care. I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Danny Jansen. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
And the Blue Jays still leading 4-0. Let's quickly look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. That game's still in a delay in St. Louis with the Cardinals down 6-5. And they've got the bases loaded with 2 out. They're looking to resume that game. Bottom of the 9th. Pittsburgh and Colorado still no score, but the Pirates do have a man on in a defensive battle in that ball game. We'll see if it's a defensive battle tonight with the Bruins and Maple Leafs. Game 7 in Boston. I'm sure a lot of eyes in the Southern Ontario area, let alone across the country, will be glued to that one. Brendan Little still in the ball game and dealing to Luis Garcia. The count even at 1-1.
What do you think Maple Leaf Square looks like right now?
Right now at 6:12 p.m. Jammed already. Probably nobody else getting in. Might have to find another route home tonight. Want to avoid that area. Garcia with a dribbler towards third. It's in fair territory, and it's picked up by Clement, who's into the ball game over at third, and he throws out Garcia at first. A nice job by Ernie Clement, the defensive replacement, and he pays instant dividends.
Well, Ernie Clement had to avoid the third base bag there. It looked like the baseball would be hitting that bag, at least for a split second, and Clement does a great job picking up that short hop and making a sidearm throw to Vlad at first base, hitting him in the chest.
So Clement came in for Justin Turner, and again paid instant dividends on that play to get the first out of this 7th inning, as it brings up Rosario. Ruiz just sat down. Keibert Ruiz on the ground out brings up Eddie Rosario. Rosario 1 for 2 today, singled in the second, had a stolen base, and then had a little interaction with a young fan out in right field as well a couple of innings ago, as the fan sort of reached into the playing area trying to snag a foul ball. It ultimately did not come back to bite the Nationals, as Toronto was unable to score in that inning. In fact, they haven't scored since the first, but knock on wood, it hasn't mattered thus far, as the Blue Jays still lead 4-0. Rosario now ahead in the count, 3-0, and he just stares at the 4th pitch. Little, unfortunately, letting it slide against Rosario, hitting .097 on the season. That's not a guy that you want to let go. You want to pitch to him, and that's going to be the last batter for Brendan Little, as John Schneider steps out of the dugout, and up the steps he comes, and he's going to make the change. So the Blue Jays here in the 7th have 1 out with a 4-0 lead as we go back to baseball control with Shoel Lee.
Thank you very much, Eric. And before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, another reminder that we do have Jays Talk this afternoon. Daniele Franceschi and I, we will stick around and take your calls and text after the final out in D.C. 590-590. Name and location is where you can text us. That's the People's Text line. It's always open, and you can certainly reach us via the phones as well. I will throw out those numbers to call after the final out. I forgot to mention this earlier, but we will be doing a giveaway as well. We have a Danny Jansen bundle to give away, the jersey and the glasses bundle that they gave away at the Rogers Center last week. So be sure to tune in for Jays Talk. We have a trivia question for you, and if you do pay attention to that, we'll enter you into a draw if you do get that trivia question correct. So definitely join us on Jays Talk later this afternoon for a chance to win that Danny Jansen bundle. All right, let's check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Only one game tonight in the NBA playoffs. It's the first game of the second round. Timberwolves at Nuggets. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic welcome Anthony Edwards to Denver. Tip-off goes at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, so in about 45 minutes. Tomorrow, we'll actually get the final game of the first round, a quirk of the scheduling here. Magic at Cavs, Game 7. That's tomorrow afternoon at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Winner of that series plays the Boston Celtics in the next round. And for those of you who, like me, like to bet on the ponies, today is the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. Post time is at 6:57 p.m. Eastern, 3:57 p.m. Pacific at Churchill Downs. That's a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue.
All right, thanks very much, Show. We continue in the bottom of the 7th inning here. Blue Jays still leading 4-0. Toronto 2-8 over their last 10 ball games. They've lost 3 in a row, but they're hoping to get the victory today, and then dare I get greedy and talk about the rubber match tomorrow against the Nationals. They've got to take care of business here first, as Nate Pearson into the ball game, and the first pitch to Alex Call is in for a strike. The slider at 87. It's 0-1 to Call.
I was actually surprised that Nate Pearson didn't start this inning. Obviously, John Schneider saw something from Brendan Little in the previous inning that he liked, but nevertheless, Nate Pearson in this ball game.
Call, the center fielder today, just took the second pitch high for a ball. It's 1-1. Call is 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's got a man on first right now, though, as Eddie Rosario walked moments ago. Pearson missing outside. It's now 2-1. Pearson comes set and delivers, and Call swings at that one, fouls it back up and over the net behind the plate, and now 2-2. Cricket night at the ballpark is presented by TD. It's back. Head to the ballpark on Friday, May 10th to celebrate the sport of cricket, and be sure to arrive early, as the first 15,000 fans will get a Blue Jays white cricket hat. Visit BlueJays.com/cricket to purchase your ticket today. Pearson, even in the count at 2-2, trying to sit down Alex Call with Rosario on first. The 2-2 pitch slapped foul again by Alex Call. Rosario does have a little bit of speed over at first. Couple of stolen bases this season. And we saw him reach safely on base earlier on a single thanks to his legs, his speed. And now Pearson just came too far inside, hit Alex Call, and the Nationals are going to have 2 on with just 1 out here in the 7th.
Yeah, Danny Jansen was set up actually on the outside part of the plate and elevated with that fastball, but Nate Pearson runs it back in on Call. It hits him in that arm, that elbow guard there. But it's not fun getting hit by 97 in the elbow, regardless of if you're wearing a protector or not. More so in the tricep. Actually, it didn't even hit the guard.
It might have been above the guard, right?
Yeah, that hit him in the tricep.
For those of us that have triceps. First and second now with 1 out. And it's the bottom of the order now for Trey Lipscomb. He's 0 for 2 today as well, but he's got a chance right now with 2 on and just 1 out. First and second for the Nationals. The second pitch from Pearson is low. It's now 1-1.
This is a big at bat for Nate Pearson. The tying run is standing in that batter's box, and I can guarantee you that Blue Jays dugout, specifically John Schneider, has last night's game very fresh in the memory.
Nate Pearson looks over at Rosario at second. The pitch to Lipscomb down third and foul as Ernie Clement picks it up and throws it high into the stands to give a Washington fan a souvenir. Tim Meza, the left-hander, warming up in the Blue Jay bullpen. Bottom of the 7th. We're about 2 hours, 15 minutes into this ball game as the Blue Jays lead the Nationals 4-0. All 4 in the first inning. Pearson, the 1-2 pitch. And it's down low in the dirt. Lipscomb held back. It's 2-2.
That was actually a nasty curveball from Nate Pearson. You don't really see them that often, but it started in that strike zone. And Lipscomb with the good eye, not offering at that good curveball from Nate Pearson.
Pearson again looks over at Rosario at second. The pitch to Jansen. And he just missed on the outside corner. LaRue wanted that call, so did John Schneider.
Well, Jonathan Parr has called that a strike multiple times today.
Especially early in the game.
That's the pitch that he rung up Bo Bichette on and then tossed him after he slammed his helmet down.
Pearson missed at 98, comes back at 97, and that one well outside, and now the bases are juiced, and we're going to the top of the order. Rosario walked. Call was hit by a pitch, and now Lipscomb walks. The 7th inning, not pretty thus far for the Blue Jays. And now Pete Walker comes out of the dugout and heads to the mound.
Well, I think you have to get Jimmy Garcia up at this time. Not because of last night, but just because this is a big part in this ball game. Jimmy Garcia can pitch multiple innings. I'm not talking about him pitching 2 innings, but maybe an inning and a third coming into this ball game to get 1 big out here in this 7th inning. But there's also an off day on Monday, so the Blue Jays can use Jimmy Garcia today. They can use him tomorrow. They can use Jordan Romano today and tomorrow, regardless of the score, and then not worry about losing them for a ball game because of that off day. But I think it's very important to get Jimmy Garcia up and to have Jordan Romano ready to pitch the 9th inning.
So Pete Walker heads back to the Blue Jay dugout after a couple of words with his infielders and more so with his pitcher, Nate Pearson. Blue Jays leading 4-0 as C.J. Abrams comes up, top of the order, and the left-handed hitting shortstop slaps one foul and an 0-1 count.
And I think C.J. Abrams is the best hitter in this lineup. A guy that's hitting almost 290 with 7 homers.
The 0-1 pitch a little bit high and just outside. And now 1-1. Abrams, in his career with the bases loaded, does have 1 home run and 17 runs batted in. A .259 career hitter with the bases loaded. And he sends one deep to center field. Varsho is back at the wall and jumps just before the wall to make the grab and throws it in. Rosario tags and scores. Abrams just missing on a grand slam. In fact, if it's not raining, maybe that thing's gone.
Yeah, Abrams missed that by about 5 feet. He just got under that baseball, and you could see him.
And it was Kiermaier, I apologize, of course, tracking back. My mistake, folks, as Kiermaier in at center today with Varsho sliding over to left. But yes, it's everybody with the mustaches and the beards that are screwing me up today. I apologize.
But every Blue Jays fan, every guy in that dugout holding their breath as Kevin Kiermaier catches that baseball with his back up against the center field wall. Wow, but they're not out of trouble yet.
Blue Jays leading now 4-1. Even in the count, 1-1. Nick Senzel, the third baseman, swings and loops one into center field. It's picked up by Kiermaier. It falls in, and a great job rounding the bases and scoring from second, Alex Call. And Washington trying to keep things going. It's now 4-2 Toronto.
And just like that, the tying run is on base as Senzel is standing at first base. He does the hula as he gets to first base, and this Washington Nationals team has got some life right now. John Schneider is coming to get Nate Pearson.
So the Blue Jays scored 4 runs in the first inning, and they were riding that momentum all the way here until the 7th. But just as the Nationals did yesterday, they have rallied in the 7th. They scored 4 in the 7th inning last night. They've scored 2 thus far, and they're hoping to keep it going as the Blue Jays, to Chris's point, will indeed make another change, which will allow us to go again to Show Ali and baseball control.
Thank you very much, Eric. And before we check that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, one more reminder about Jays Talk with Daniele Franceschi and I. I'll take your calls and texts. 590-590, name and location where you can text us. That's the People's Text line. We'll throw out the numbers to call after the final out. We'll give away, win or lose, we'll give away this Danny Jansen bundle, the jersey and the glasses. So be sure to join us on Jay's Talk. We'll give out the trivia question, and if you get the question right via the text line, you can be entered into a draw to win. All right, on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, another check of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Round 1, only 2 more games to go. 1 tonight, 1 tomorrow, as all the other series have wrapped up. A pair of Game 7s, the first of which is tonight, Leafs-Bruins, TD Garden in Boston. Puck drop just goes after 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC after the game is over. Win or lose, just JD Bunkish, Justin Bourne, Sam McKee have Leafs Talk for you on radio, on YouTube, and Sportsnet Plus. Elliot Friedman saying a couple of minutes ago that Austin Matthews does have a shot to play tonight, while Sportsnet's Nick Kiprio saying there are some rumblings that Joseph Wall might not play tonight. So we will keep an eye on that situation as it develops, just on about 90 minutes until puck drop in Boston. Winner of this series moves on to play the Panthers in the second round. Tomorrow night, Golden Knights at Stars, Game 7. Winner plays the Avalanche in the second round. Puck drop tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. That was a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. We continue in the 7th inning, and the Nationals are hoping to continue in the 7th inning. With 2 out, they've got the rally going here. They've already scored 2, and they've still got 2 on, as Tim Meza comes into the ball game now for the Blue Jays, the left-hander. And the first pitch in for a strike. It caught the inside edge against Luis Garcia. Garcia, the left-handed hitting second baseman, left-on-left battle. With runners on first and second for the Nationals. Meza delivers. Slapped away foul by Garcia, and Meza quickly ahead 0-2.
And Tim Meza came into that ball game last night and threw a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits and 1 earned run.
A chance to redeem himself this evening. Blue Jays ahead 4-2. 2 out in the 7th. Jansen set up inside. Meza threw that one low and inside. And now a 1-2 count to Garcia.
Danny Jansen was tapping the ground with his glove, trying to fool Garcia.
Garcia with a single in his last at bat. He did have a 3-run homer last night. And Meza just missed outside. And Garcia battling back to pull even now at 2-2. Bottom of the 7th, Blue Jays leading 4-2. Meza looks over at Lipscomb at second. Winds and delivers to Jansen. Strike 3. Meza does his job as Garcia gets caught looking and sits down. And the Nationals inning ends, but they do get 2. Toronto leading 4-2. We go to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Nobody covered the 2024 draft like NFL Radio.
The Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams.
Crossed off the first pick in the NFL draft. Very blessed, very honored.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
It's a real moment. It's something I dreamt about since a kid.
The New England Patriots select Drake May.
One of the best sports down in the country, and can't wait to play for the Patriots. Just out to Pats Nation.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it up, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. Getting set to start the 8th inning, and it's going to begin right now with Daniel Vogelbach still in the ballgame, the left-handed hitter, up against Derek Law, the Nationals reliever. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter, and now would be a great time for a big Vogie swing. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game, and he dances out of the way of that pitch down at his toes. 1-1 in the count. Blue Jays ahead 4-2. They scored 4 in the first, haven't scored since. Washington just got 2 moments ago in the 7th inning. And Vogelbach whiffs and waves at a pitch and down 1-2.
And that mist is really starting to come down now. Derek Laws keeps banging his toes against the mound, trying to get that clay off of the bottom of his cleats.
Came inside again, down near the toes. Vogie held back on that one, 2-2.
Derek Law's got a really good curveball, and it is really starting to mist right now.
And it's been kind of steady all day. There is rain in the forecast, and I think quite a bit of it for tomorrow. We'll see if that changes before first pitch tomorrow, as Vogelbach just swings and misses and sits down. And unfortunately, it's an 0 for 4 afternoon for the Blue Jay DH. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Danny Jansen, first pitch, low from Derek Law. Below the zone, and a 1-0 count for Jansen. 1 for 2 today with a double, a walk, and a run batted in. The average on the season up to 286 for Jansen. Law delivers that one high, now 2-0.
And Vogelbach is now hitting 111 on the season. He's 3 for 27. But he's come into some tough situations. You can't just rely on the numbers.
The 2-0 to Jansen off the end of his bat, fouled toward the Nationals dugout. Now 2-1.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that'll say he's done nothing. There's a lot of people in this building that will probably say that'll say he's done nothing. But keep in mind, a pinch hitter, specifically a left-handed pinch hitter,
they just caught that one inside on Jansen. Now a 2-2.
Has one of the hardest jobs in baseball. Coming into a ball game, late in a ball game, probably facing a guy throwing upper 90s.
The 2-2 to Jansen, outside and low.
And probably expected to come up with the big hit, come up with the late inning heroics, the homer. And it's not always going to happen. Sometimes you're going to be 3 for 27.
I'll share a thought in a moment.
All right.
The 3-2 to Jansen. And he sends it into left field. Base hit for Danny Jansen. Another strong afternoon for the Blue Jay catcher. And Toronto's got a man on with 1 out. Here's my thing with Vogie. And I'm not trying to pick on the guy by any means. You're the expert. Let me ask you, though. The Blue Jays generally have been built as a team where you've got a lot of guys that can play a lot of different positions and do a lot of different things. Vogie's not one of those guys. He's there to DH and to hit for power. He has 1 run batted in and no home runs. He's not hitting for power. He's not hitting, period. And he's not going to play anywhere else. So if you're not hitting, I can appreciate where the frustration comes. I'm sure he's frustrated as well, but you can see where the fans are probably getting a little bit, or more than a little bit frustrated.
So I agree with you. All those I guess facts are bang on.
Biggio ahead in the count, 1-0. Second pitch comes in, and wow, they're going to say he missed inside. Derek Law wanted that call, but they didn't give it to him. 2-0.
And I've never been a lefty pinch hitter off the bench. I know.
Nor have I.
But I have had teammates that have said that being a lefty off the bench is the hardest job in baseball.
Oh, Biggio, lefty swing out to right field, but right at Rosario. He tracks it down smoothly and tosses it back in. 2 down.
So I'm just trying to explain maybe why he's having such a tough season. But at the same time, the eye test is what I generally use, and his swing doesn't look great. But is that because he's coming off the bench every once in a while and he's not getting regular work? We saw that with Kevin Biggio last year, where he was terrible for long stretches because he wasn't getting regular action.
Kevin Kiermaier steps to the plate. Law delivers to him. Kiermaier sends it deep into the gap, and it's actually going to hit the top of the wall. It's going to be a home run for Kevin Kiermaier as he gave that thing a ride. Welcome back, Kevin Kiermaier. 390 feet. He just came off the DL, and he has extended the Blue Jays lead to 6-2.
Well, that swing has to feel good for Kevin Kiermaier. Coming into that at-bat, he was hitting just 183, 11 for 60 on the season with 0 home runs. And he hits that ball into right center and gets it out, hitting that railing above the wall there. A good swing. Derek Law with his hands on his knees. That might be the nail. Maybe not, but that might be the nail.
Uh-oh. Come on now. I hope you didn't just throw down the jinx. Blue Jays go ahead 6-2, so they get back those 2 runs that they just gave up in the 7th. And as George Springer steps to the plate on a 1-0 pitch, he fouls one, or checks that, flies one out to right field to end the inning. But the Blue Jays get 2 on the bat of Kevin Kiermaier, leading 6-2, going to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning, and Trevor Richards now into the ballgame for the Blue Jays. He will start things off on the mound with Washington trailing 6-2. Jays were up 4-zip. Nationals got 2 in the 7th to make it 4-2. And then Kevin Kiermaier in the top of the 8th with a 2-run shot to center field, 390 feet, put Toronto back on top by 4. It's now a 6-2 lead as Richards gets ahead in the count. 0-1, and now just threw a changeup for an 0-2 count, as they say that Joey Meneses offered at that. So it's 0-2 again. Richards delivering.
And Richards is in this ball game because Jimmy Garcia is suffering from a little bit of back tightness. I misspoke earlier when I was, when I was saying that he should have been in that ball game.
There was some discussion as to whether he might be available, and we were told that they were going to monitor it. So you weren't entirely wrong.
But I was incorrect jumping the gun. I should have.
Little dribbler to the mound, picked up by Richards, and he throws wide. It was an easy throw to Vladdy, and Richards airmailed it. Guerrero couldn't get to it. And Washington starts the inning now with a man on. Maybe it's a wet ball, and that impacted things for Richards, as he just threw it badly, wildly, errant throw to Vladdy over at first.
Watching the replay, it actually looked like he picked that ball up with a changeup grip and just decided to throw it anyways. Sometimes that happens. You pick it up and you don't have the right grip, but that's a tough play. The Blue Jays needed that leadoff out there.
So Joey Meneses gets on thanks to the errant throw. It brings up Jesse Winker, the left-handed hitting Winker, 0 for 3 today. Does have a couple of strikeouts. The Nationals left fielder trying to get things going for the Nationals offense here in the bottom of the 8th with a man on. Winker with 3 home runs this season, 15 runs batted in. He gets underneath one and sends it to center field. Kiermaier underneath it with plenty of room, about midway into center. Makes the grab and tosses it back in. There's one down.
And Trevor Richards' changeup is noticeably better today. A lot more break to it as Jesse Winker slams the bat down. But that changeup sometimes just floats in there, and today it's really has good action down. Almost like a split finger, which is necessary for Trevor Richards to be successful.
Richards now with the first pitch to Keibart Ruiz. First pitch swinging, gets underneath it and bloops one over to third base, and a pop out grab by Ernie Clement, and very quickly 2 down. So after throwing away that ball at first base, Richards recovers by getting Winker to fly out to center and then Ruiz to pop out to third. 2 down as Eddie Rosario gets set to come up. The left-handed hitting right fielder steps into the box with a man on first still. That pitch from Richards into the dirt, and that's going to allow Joey Meneses to advance to second on the wild pitch.
Danny Jansen has been good all day blocking that baseball, but there kind of hits his rib cage there and bounces off to the right side, and Meneses is able to take second base.
Now a runner in scoring position for the Nationals here in the bottom of the 8th. Toronto leading 6-2. That one fouled off. Experience the newly renovated infield at Rogers Center in person, from new drink rails to seats closer to the action, cup holders in every seat. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Experience it firsthand. Head to bluejays.com/ticket packs to get your tickets today. 1-1. Pearson delivers to Rosario. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Bottom of the 8th. Trevor Richards trying to get out of this inning and maintain the 6-2 lead for the Jays. Looks over at second, and the pitch, and chasing it high was Rosario, and Richards gets the K and gets out of the inning. The Blue Jays lead 6-2 as we head to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Golf in 2024 has been dominated by one man.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The season's second major championship has the world's best players trying to win the Wanamaker Trophy.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
And you can hear all the action on SiriusXM. PGA Championship Radio returns Monday, May 13th with play-by-play from Valhalla Golf Club, starting Thursday, May 16th on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Share the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you from the Timbermark broadcast booth in the top of the 9th inning. The Blue Jays leading the Nationals 6-2, 6 runs on 9 hits today for the Blue Jays, as Dalton Varsho, the left fielder, will lead things off here in the 9th for Toronto. First pitch coming from Tanner Rainey into the ball game for the Nationals. The 4th pitcher of the game for Washington. Rainey down 1-0 in the count. Deals to Varsho, high and inside, but they give it to him. Caught the inside edge. It's 1-1.
He's a perfect guy to have in this ball game right now.
Why is that? Because it's raining? Solid dad joke from Chris LaRue. That one in the dirt for Varsho as he holds off. Now 2-1. That's all right. Today's all about dad jokes on May the 4th, right?
You started with the dad joke.
That's true. That's true. As Varsho gets underneath one, skies it, and it's going to be up over the backstop. Now 2-2. I saw somebody wrote earlier, I can't remember if it was on Twitter, X, or whatever. They said it's not just May the 4th, but tomorrow is Revenge of the 5th. I haven't heard that one before. I'm sure there's got to be a Star Wars cliche or joke for everything. Varsho gets underneath one again, but this one's going to be in fair territory. It's out towards second base. Underneath it, the shortstop, C.J. Abrams, makes the grab, and there's one down.
So I forget what you said yesterday. You are a Star Wars fan?
I mean, I
like loosely.
No. I mean, listen. I grew up in the I grew up in the early '80s with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and all that stuff. That would have been in my wheelhouse as like a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid. So yes, I am a Star. Like I'm not a total nerd about it, but yes, I do watch. I have watched Star Wars, and I have a young son who grew up on all these newer movies. Right, not so young anymore, but so yes, I like Star Wars. That's it though. Like I'm not a sci-fi guy. No Star Trek. No nothing. Guerrero down 0-1 in the count. Stares at the second pitch, low and outside, 1-1.
So I'm not a Star Wars guy. Never have been. Didn't really grow up on it. But I have seen Dune, and Dune I've heard is kind of like a Star Wars type of sci-fi thing.
Yes, if you can explain that first one to me, I'd appreciate it. Vladdy sends one to center, but plenty of room to get underneath it and make the grab. Alex Call. There's 2 down.
Explain what to you?
Dune. I was so confused watching that thing.
It'll take longer. It'll take longer than what we have. It'll take a lot longer than what we have to explain Dune to you. Yeah.
I got to go back and watch that first one again. Maybe even watch the original again before I go watch this latest installment because I was so confused. Tanner Rainey knocking down the first 2 batters for the Blue Jays. He's got 2 out now as he delivers to Ernie Clement. Clement came into the ball game as a defensive replacement for Justin Turner, so this is his first at-bat in the ball game. Blue Jays leading 6-2, top 9. And Clement fouls one off on the 1-0 pitch. It's now 1-1.
And the Blue Jays are not messing around here with Jordan Romano getting loose in that bullpen. Even with a 4-run lead, a non-save situation, Jordan Romano was coming in this ballgame.
Clement standing in the box, 1-1, as Rainey delivers low to Clement. Now 2-1. About 2 hours and 45 minutes this game today. One of the longer ones we've had in a while, but certainly from a Blue Jays perspective, it's been a good one with a 6-2 lead here in the 9th. And Rainey just missing low and outside.
I don't think Jonathan Parr, the home plate umpire, really knows where the zone is.
He hasn't been consistent at all, right?
That was a good pitch from Rainey, a good pitch down in the zone, clearly a strike, and I think Jonathan Parr just whiffed on it.
Rainey delivers to Clement on a 3-1 count. Ernie fouls it up and over the backstop. Now 3-2. Ernie Clement hitting .273 on the season. Again, his first at-bat likely will be his only at-bat in this ballgame. Certainly hope that's the case, and barring some sort of big-time comeback in the bottom of the 9th for the Nationals. Rainey delivers outside to Clement, and he's going to get on with a free pass to keep this 9th inning going.
And I think that's why this game is taking so long. A lot of deep counts, a lot of 3-2 counts, a lot of pitches. Even Kevin Gosman threw a lot of pitches in his outing. As Rainey walks Clement right there.
So now Clement on first as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa comes to the plate. And IKF fires one up the middle, and wow, under the glove of Garcia, the second baseman. It's into center field, so Clement makes the turn, gets the third, and IKF is standing on first. Jays have runners on the corners.
And I don't know what happened there with Garcia at second base, whether he whiffed on it or whether he thought that ball was going to hit second base. It kind of went right over second base, and I don't know if that messed with him a little bit, but Garcia just lets that. Yeah, I think he just whiffed on it.
Yeah, went right under his glove. Take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan. It brings Vogel back to the plate with 2 on, and the first pitch from Rainey a little bit low. It's 1-0. And there's a "Let's Go Blue Jays" chant breaking out in Washington. Low and inside the second pitch. It's now 2-0 to Vogie.
That might have been the last thing I would have expected at Nationals Park. A "Let's Go Blue Jays" chant.
2-0 now. And Vogelback slaps one to first, and a hot shot grab for Trey Lipscomb, who steps on the bag and an 0-for-5 day for Daniel Vogelbach. The Jays unfortunately can't get another in, but they head to the ninth with a 6-2 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Jordan Romano, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control in our downtown Toronto studios. Jays lead the Nationals 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. We do have Jays talk after this one. Daniele Franceschi and I will stick around, take your calls and your text after the final out in D.C. 590-590, name and location is where you can text us as always. That's the People's Text line. I will throw out the numbers to call after the final out. And don't forget, we have the Danny Jansen bundle to give away. I have a trivia question lined up for you all, and if you text that correct answer to 590-590 once Jays Talk begins, you will be entered into a draw to win the Jano bundle. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Again, Jays lead it 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. You heard the Jordan Romano rejoin. He's on the mound in D.C. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue.
Thanks very much, Joe. And even though it's raining and the jersey's already wet, it's even wetter as Jordan Romano comes out with the traditional soaked jersey after pouring that water bottle down his face and down his chest and his neck and his back and you name it. He's coming in fully lathered for this bottom of the ninth with the Blue Jays leading 6-2.
And Jordan Romano just threw that first pitch and kind of stared in at Jonathan Parr as he makes another suspect call.
Yeah, they say it was a ball. 1-0. Romano comes up high now, 2-0. As Call, the center fielder, stands in. Alex Call. The 2-0 is in for a strike now on the inside edge. At 95, that four-seam fastball. Romano, high leg kick. And the pitch, it looked like Call went. Yes, he did. They caught him on a slider. Alex Call waved at that one. It's now 2-2. Blue Jays leading, bottom of the ninth. First batter of the inning for the Nationals. It's Alex Call. Romano kicks, delivers, and outside with the slider. Now 3-2. Call was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. Previous to that, 2 strikeouts in the ball game. 0 for 2 this afternoon / this evening. The 3-2 pitch, and he gets underneath that one, fouls it back of the cage. And it stays at 3-2.
And that just shows you how confident Jordan Romano is in that slider. 3-2, up by 4. And he flips in that slider right down the middle. Alex Call fouls it back. A lot of confidence in that pitch.
Romano, 3-2 pitch down Main Street. Call got underneath it again and sends out a little looper to center. Charging in at it with ease. Kiermaier makes the grab, and there's one down here in the ninth. Washington down to their final 2 outs as Trey Lipscomb comes to the plate. The right-handed hitting first baseman will face Jordan Romano. And the first pitch Jansen tried to frame it, but they're going to call it a ball. The count stands at 1-0.
Yeah, I think that's one of those unframeable pitches.
Jansen with that high leg kick again, delivers low on the slider. It's now 2-0. Lipscomb, the number 9 hitter in the Nationals lineup. C.J. Abrams standing in the on-deck circle. The 2-0 pitch. Inside on a heater at 94, and now 3-0.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is fall behind 3-0, up by 4 to the number 9 hitter in this Nationals lineup.
And Romano comes back with a strike, caught the inside edge, 3-1. Lipscomb 0 for 2 today. Trying to get on right here with a 3-1 count. The pitch. In for another strike, almost the same spot from Jordan Romano. And now battling back to 3-2. Full count now for the Nationals' first baseman. With the rain still misting down in D.C., and Romano came back inside, and impressive there that Lipscomb held back. Romano tried for the same spot, but it no doubt was a little bit further inside, and the Nationals are going to have one on.
Well, John Schneider is shaking his head. Obviously he didn't like that call, but that was clearly a strike from that replay.
A ball.
A ball from that replay. Every fastball that Jordan Romano has thrown so far, at least the majority of them have been arm side high. He doesn't have the right release point yet on that fastball as he throws a slider there to get ahead in that count. But every fastball he's thrown has been arm side high.
Top of the order now for the Nationals, C.J. Abrams. The number 1 hitter slaps a line drive out into center field, picked up by Kiermaier. And the Nationals are trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 9th. They're down 6-2, but they've got 2 on with just 1 out.
Yeah, again, another fastball, and it ends up being fastball high. And Abrams so good at just slapping that ball the other way. It's a good line drive to left center. Kevin Kiermaier picks it up and throws it into second base, but I think the Nationals have something going on here. Jordan Romano just has to get ahead. I think that's his biggest thing right now is he needs to get ahead and then throw that slider.
So runners at first and second as Nick Senzel comes up to the plate. And first pitch swinging, fouls one off. 1 for 4 today. He did knock in 1 of the 2 Washington runs with an RBI single back in the 7th inning. Abrams standing on first. And out at second, it's Trey Lipscomb. And quickly down 0-2. Senzel fouls off, another pitch. So Romano's got a chance to punch him out right here. One down in the bottom of the 9th. Romano looks at Lipscomb, delivers to Jansen. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Nick Senzel, and the Nationals are down to their last out.
And that's the biggest thing with Jordan Romano. If he gets ahead, he can start throwing that slider that he really, really leans on ahead in counts. But if he doesn't get ahead, that's when he starts to struggle. So throwing strike 1 for Jordan Romano is the most important thing.
First pitch to Garcia, Luis Garcia, the left-handed hitting second baseman, high and outside. It's a 1-0 count. Garcia with a walk and a single today. The season average sits at .301 as he stares down Romano. Left on right battle here with Romano dealing and swing and miss from Garcia. It's 1-1. Romano looks at second and winds and delivers to Jansen. Garcia gets a hold of one, sends it into right field, picked up by Springer. And Washington's going to get another one on the board. Trying to make something happen here with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
And the tying run is coming to the plate.
Lipscomb made the turn from third and on his way into home to score the Nationals' 3rd run. And the inning stays alive for the Nationals. Abrams now at second. Garcia at first. Meneses stands in, the right-handed hitting DH today for the Nationals. Has yet to record a home run this season. Does have 14 runs batted in. One swing could tie this game. Romano, low and outside on the pitch to Meneses. It's 1-1. 2 down, bottom 9. Jays leading 6-3. Missing outside. It's now 2-1. Romano with 24 pitches already thrown here in the bottom of the 9th. The 2-1. And Meneses sends this one to left field right at Varsho, who makes the grab and ends the game. And the Blue Jays snap a 3-game skid. It got a little bit dicey there in the 9th, but ultimately Jordan Romano shuts the door. The Jays get the win and now look to carry some momentum into the rubber match tomorrow afternoon.
Well, the Blue Jays took advantage of those miscues in the first inning by the Washington Nationals, but today's player of the game is Kevin Gosman, throwing 5 1/3, giving up no runs and striking out 8 and lowering his ERA to 3.78. I never would have thought that after that second game that he had against the New York Yankees when he was throwing 88 to 89 mile-an-hour fastballs. But Kevin Gausman was good all day long. He was throwing that fastball down in the zone. That split finger had very, very good action to it today. Kevin Gausman hit another gear in the 6th and 7th inning when he was, in the 6th inning when he was close to 110 pitches. He threw a fastball at 97 miles an hour. So Kevin Gausman is starting to hit that stride, I think, and he's starting to be the guy that the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays fans have expected him to be early on in this season.
In a ball game that took 2 hours and 59 minutes, the Blue Jays beat the Nationals 6-3. We will step aside for the break, come back and get set to wrap things up and also preview tomorrow's 3rd of 3 in D.C. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Pizza.ca. Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Roddy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. The Blue Jays getting the victory today over the Washington Nationals 6-3. Again, Toronto came into the ball game just 2-8 over their last 10. They had lost 3 in a row, but they snap out of that skid. And maybe a sign of the offense getting rolling a little bit with 6 runs scored. 4 of the 6 came in the first inning, but the next 2 came later in the ball game off one swing from Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier steps to the plate. Law delivers to him. Kiermaier sends it deep into the gap, and it's actually going to hit the top of the wall. It's going to be a home run for Kevin Kiermaier as he gave that thing a ride. Welcome back, Kevin Kiermaier. 390 feet. He just came off the DL, and he has extended the Blue Jays lead to 6-2.
Well, there's a railing above the wall out there in right center, and we couldn't tell if it hit the railing or the top of the wall, but clearly everybody saw that, and the umpire signaled it a homer. But Kevin Kiermaier with a big game today with that 2-run home run, and then, of course, the catch in the 7th inning up against the wall with the bases loaded. We need him. The Blue Jays need him. The Blue Jays need his spark, and he needs to be a guy that is a fire starter for this offense and for the defense, but mostly for the offense. I think him, George Springer, Dalton Varsho are all guys that this Blue Jays offense needs to get on base, steal a bag, put some pressure on the defense, and I think the Blue Jays offense will be in good hands.
Well, and I mentioned in the call as well, it was to the gap. It was in the gap, but it just kept sailing and sailing and sailing, and ultimately hit that top part of the wall, the railing, to go over the wall, and the home run for Kiermaier, who just came back from the 10-day DL. And when you think about the defense now for the Blue Jays, obviously when healthy, Kiermaier in center with Varsho in left and Springer in right, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better outfield overall in baseball overall. You got to get the bats going. Now, hopefully, this was a decent sign for the Blue Jays today with 6 runs on 9 hits. They also did get the benefit of 4 Washington errors in this game, but this could be something that you look to carry over into the rubber match tomorrow afternoon.
Well, that's the biggest thing is you look at the errors that the Washington Nationals committed, but a lot of the times the Blue Jays haven't taken advantage of miscues from the opposing team, and they did today. They scored 4 runs in the first inning, and then they get that big 2-run home run in the 8th from Kevin Kiermaier. But you have to take advantage of miscues from other teams. Good teams take advantage. And if the Blue Jays expect to make the playoffs, they have to continue to take advantage of not only miscues, but everything else that the other teams give them.
So again, the Blue Jays on 9 hits score 6 runs. Danny Jansen 2 for 3 with a double, a single, a run, and an RBI. We talked about the Kiermaier home run. Kevin Gosman with 5 1/3. Gave up 3 hits, had 8 Ks, only 2 walks. In a game that took 2 hours and 59 minutes, the Blue Jays back on the winning track, improving to 16-18, the final of 3 tomorrow afternoon, 1:35 first pitch against the Nationals, and we will have it for you right here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Thanks to producer Nick Blackmore, technical director Tom Young, and host Show Ali. For Chris LaRue, I'm Eric Smith. You've been listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network, as we now join Jays Talk with Show Ali.
Well, Daniele, as we know, nothing is ever easy for this team.
No, sir.
But, gosh, the Blue Jays, they still grab the win in D.C., a great way to bounce back after last night, which was a very ugly result, but a great win here on Saturday, and some positive results from expected places, such as Kevin Gosman, who settled in. He a little rocky first inning maybe, but he settled in, had the splitter working today, looked great. And some positives from maybe unexpected places like Kevin Kiermaier, who comes off the IL, blasts his first home run of the season. That has got to feel good for him. And the Jays, they even the series against the Washington Nationals in D.C., a 6-3 win for them this Saturday, this hallowed day, May the 4th.
May the 4th. Yeah, it was kind of a bizarre ball game, sloppy defensively. Oh. Man, the Nationals were generous with their defense today. Holy smokes. 4 errors. But, you know, there was a sequence in the first inning. Obviously, a couple errors occurred in that inning as well. The Vladdy play where he's running down the first base line and the throw it was a bit of a haphazard play. It gets thrown a little bit off base. that was not credited as an error, but that was something that certainly played into them being able to plate 4 runs in the first inning. To your point, I mean, you need contributions across the board. Kevin Kiermaier delivers. Gosman, I thought, as the game went on, got stronger. And you could clearly see him. Like, it was very much fastball splitter today. Heavy fastball splitter usage. But he had the splitter dancing big time. It looked filthy. Fastball command got better as the outing went along. And, they did just enough. And the bullpen wasn't spectacular. It looked a little bit dicey when Nate Pearson came out of the pen. Brendan Little did some nice work. But Tim Meza, credit to him for, after what transpired yesterday, coming in and what was really a sliding doors moment, managing to strike out Luis Garcia, looking to end. I think it was the 7th or the 8th at that. It was the 7th inning at that point because Trevor Richards pitched the 8th. I thought that was pivotal. That was the pivotal moment for me in the game. 4-2, things are starting to swing. Meza gets a big out. That was a big moment for me in the ballgame.
That is Daniele Franceschi. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network, also streaming on sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app. Give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line, and it is always open. And Daniele, before I continue, I should note, I mentioned this during the game a couple of times, but we do have a giveaway for everyone today. So if you all recall, whether you're just joining us on Jays Talk for the first time right now or you're a longtime listener dating well before me, we gave away a number of items last year. We kind of here and there over the years, but we gave away a whole bunch of items last year, and I always enjoy hearing from everyone. Today marks our first giveaway of the season, and I have here, courtesy of Tom Young, a Danny Jansen bundle to give away, a Jano jersey, and replica glasses. So the way you can win this bundle is by texting the answer to the question I'm about to ask. You are not eligible to enter, Daniele. I'm sorry. But you have to text the answer to this question to 590-590, name and location, and your name and location are mandatory, as you would imagine. And if you get the answer correct, you will be entered into a draw to win. So here's the question, all right? It's Danny Jansen themed, as you might imagine. How many times has Danny Jansen hit double-digit home runs in a single season? So he's played 6 seasons, not including this year. So of those 6 seasons, how many times has he hit 10 or more home runs, essentially? So text us the answer along with your name and location to 590-590, and you will be entered into a draw to win. And I will announce the winner tomorrow on tomorrow's edition of Jays Talk. So again, how many times has Danny Jansen hit double-digit home runs in a single season? So how many times has he hit 10 or more home runs of his 6 seasons? Again, text that answer to 590-590, name and location, entered into the draw to win. Okay, let's chat some Kevin Gosman.
Yes.
I think that's a great place to start in a game like this. So 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs earned or otherwise, 2 walks issued, 8 strikeouts, 112 pitches thrown, 73 of them strikes. So he came back out for that 6th inning. He got an out, and then he let up a hit, and then that was it. Schneider came out, finger point to the bullpen. Gosman's day was done. Early on, and this never really changed, Daniele, but the velo was down on the fastball compared to what we are used to seeing. So MLB.com saying the 4-seam fastball, it averaged 93 miles an hour, and it tapped out at 96.9 miles an hour. The lowest velo on the 4-seamer, 89.6, but the average velo on the 4-seamer, 93 miles an hour. And again, it's not terrible, obviously, because he can throw the ball harder. And I do wonder if the cold, rainy day had something to do with it. The telecast seemed to show, while it wasn't raining particularly hard, it seemed to be kind of misty, and a lot of the people in the seats seemed to be wearing their jackets and ponchos and so on. So it didn't look like it was particularly comfortable out there. I gotta think that was at least a part of it. But even when he missed with the fastball, you mentioned this, the splitter looked filthy. He had a whiff rate of 44% on the split finger today. And once he settled down, he managed to kind of use all the other pitches relatively effectively. Fastball, slider, sinker, and he kind of turned to those other pitches a couple times. But like you mentioned, very heavy on the fastball splitter mix today.
Very heavy. The velocity is interesting because this has been a theme now. And today was his 7th outing of the season, his 7th start. The last 4 collectively have been very good. Coming into today, over his previous 3, he had a .96 ERA. And again, today, pitches into the 6th inning. Pitch count was a bit elevated because of the command. It was a little erratic early on. But Bailey, he was able, I mean, it helps when you're facing the Nationals, with all due respect to them and their lineup. There's not a lot of guys in that lineup that kind of scare you a ton. So he was able to navigate his way and work through some of the early struggles that he experienced. But the splitter saved him today. The splitter saved him. And then as he went deeper into his outing, that's when the fastball started to play up a little bit. And I know Chris LaRue referenced this on the broadcast. He hit 96 miles an hour on the fastball in his final inning of work after throwing 100-plus pitches at that point. He had 97 pitches through 6 innings of work, 117, as you referenced, a season high for him already at this point, which is, I thought there was no chance he was coming out again.
Me too.
I really did. I thought that's it, day over. He grinded his way through 5, give him, go pat him on the back, shake his hand. Yet he came out, he threw another 20 pitches after that point in retiring 1 batter in the 6th inning. But overall, I thought it was a sign of a really, really good pitcher, a great starter, because even though he didn't necessarily have his best stuff, he still was able to be remarkably effective. And that's why you turn to Kevin Gosman as one of your more dependable, reliable arms, and ace by all accounts as well. That's why he's in that position.
I've often said I think the word ace is overused. Not every team has an ace.
I think the Jays might have 2.
They very well could, right? But Kevin Gausman absolutely is their primary ace. He's the stopper. He's the guy you need to pitch well, which is, I think, why when he pitched, again, it was an abbreviated spring for Gausman, but when he pitched poorly to start the season, I thought to myself, gosh, that's so tough to see because he's not you never see that from him. And he has turned things around in a great way in the last 3 starts, maybe even 4 starts, depending on the last couple ones. But definitely against the Dodgers, he looked great. Against the Yankees, he looked great. And certainly in the last start against the Yankees, not the first start, and then certainly against the Nationals here today.
One thing to add on, because you referenced the weather, and I do think maybe that played a little bit of a factor, because if we go back to, I believe it was his 2nd start against the Yankees, where he was awful, and that was in a situation where the conditions weather-wise,
that was the first start.
Was that his first? That was his first appearance.
Yeah.
The conditions were very similar, and he struggled with the velocity. And you could see he was really fighting it. The command was not there in the Bronx on that afternoon at the beginning of April. So I wonder, this is a guy that clearly enjoys playing in some climate control conditions. Like when the roof's there and he's at home, he's great. But yeah, I do think that might have been a factor in this. Overall, though, obviously very positive and encouraging that he's able to go deeper into the ball game today and put together another quality outing for this team.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones and get your take on what went down for the Blue Jays today. Alan in Toronto joining us here on Jays Talk. Alan, what's on your mind?
The second inning, 1 out, and Eddie Rosario is he's on first base, and he stole second without a throw.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know the difference between a stolen base and infield or defensive indifference, I guess they call it, because anytime there is no throw, it should not be a stolen base. It should be infield or defensive indifference, whatever they call it. And I was wondering, how do they determine whether it's a defensive indifference or a stolen base? Because if it's no throw, as far as I'm concerned, that's it.
You know what? I appreciate the call, Alan. I think, as far as I remember, because I think I actually had this conversation with Raj ages ago. Because I asked this,
he's perfect guy to ask,
he is an official scorer, right? And I had asked him this. This is years ago, honestly.
Okay.
But I remember because I agree with Alan, because if the catcher doesn't throw, that could be the difference between making it a stolen base or defensive indifference. I think the distinction between the two, because the rule says to not score a stolen base when runner advances, solely because of defensive teams' indifference to the runner's advance, right? So I think that the truth is, I think it's really just up to the scorer is what the truth is. I could be wrong, and I got double check with Raj, but I think that is the truly the only difference, because Allen's not wrong,
correct?
Right? The catcher didn't throw.
Yep.
But I do think that that is where the distinction lies, which is a little annoying when it comes to just like your own personal opinion, essentially.
I think it's a great observation by Allen, and I think back to a lot of, or not even just well, yes, I guess reflecting and referencing past instances where certain situations like that have occurred, similar situations have occurred. The most common one I always think of, Show, is when there's runners at the corners, when there's a man on first, man on third, and teams don't throw through to second on a stolen base. Mm-hmm. And it's become so commonplace. That is strategic, and every team should do it. And I remember going to a game last year where the Jays played Texas late in the season. If you recall, it was a big it was as both teams are fighting for the postseason. And literally every time the Rangers had runners on first and third, they stole second base. Those are still scored as stolen bases, which is weird to me, because in that particular instance, I feel like defensive indifference probably is more applicable, right? Because you're willing to give up the 90 feet at the expense of not putting your defense in a bad position where the guy on third might be able to score on a bad throw, or you get, I don't know, even if there's some level of distraction at second, or there's a rundown that occurs. That's why you don't do it. And yet those guys get credited with stolen bases. Or even at the end of a game in the ninth inning of a blowout. Let's say you're up 4 runs and there's a runner on first and he swipes second base. It really does feel discretionary at that point. It really does.
No, it does. It really does. I mean, that's probably not a satisfactory answer to say it's kind of like up to the discretion of the official scorer, but I do think that is the largest reason why you can make that distinction.
Yeah.
As far as I know, too, I mean, you can also appeal that. Players can appeal those decisions directly to, I don't think it's to that scorer, but like to Major League Baseball, and they can bring it to some panel, and they all kind of make their decision.
For sure.
So, but no, I will, you know what? If Roger's kicking around in here in the break, maybe I'll find him and ask him.
That's right. He's coming in after us. Yeah.
Let's continue here on the text line, 590-590, name and location. You can still give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the text line. And a lot of people texting in about the answer to the Jano question, so please keep those coming. Again, the question, if you missed it earlier, is how many times has Danny Jansen hit double-digit home runs in a single season? So not including this year, he's played 6 years. So of those 6 seasons, how many times has he hit 10 or more home runs, essentially? So
include your name and
yes,
location,
please include your name and location, just so I can reach out to you. I see one here. I like this one. Yeah, David in the 6th. Ace is definitely overused. Mm-hmm. Every team is number 1 starter. Only a handful of aces in baseball.
Oh, I love that.
I like it. I do like that.
Nice, David.
I think I tend to lean more conservatively on the use of ace. So if you believe that like Barrios is the other, is that who you were leaning with?
Barrios.
I don't know if I would call Barrios an ace, but he is certainly playing very well right now.
Yes.
But I think you kind of have to do it for like a huge period of time to be remotely considered as an ace. And I think Gosman has. But you know what? If Barrios ends the season and he is in Cy Young contention, for example, I'm willing to think about it.
I do think it's a fascinating conversation. So how many aces in baseball are there?
I'm going to say in the entire league, maybe in all of baseball, so in both leagues, I should say, the American League and the National League, I'm going to say like 12.
Okay, so
maybe less, honestly.
Yeah, so you've got your Spencer Striders, you've got Garrett Cole when he's healthy.
Garrett Cole is an ace. He is.
You're talking about, I guess we'd go, is Luis Castillo in that conversation?
Yes.
Like that's... See,
Corbin Burns.
For sure. Corbin Burns is a good one as well. Like I'm interested because, you know, when the Jays acquired Barrios, I think there was more there was a willingness to declare him as an ace then, more than there is now.
Right.
Which is weird. It's kind of weird because he's actually pitched well for the Blue Jays over an extent. Now, yes, was like 2022 great? No. But yeah, I do agree. Hey, it's probably overused, and let's see it for an extended period of time here. But the Jays might have a couple of guys that could be in that conversation.
590-590 is where you can text us. Let's go back to the text line, and I wanted to read a couple of these Vladdy texts just because
I saw a bunch of these.
A lot of Vladdy texts today. And okay, look, I'm probably more than most willing to give Vladdy the benefit of the doubt, but kind of tough to see it in certain plays today. I'm glad he got on board I think it was his third AB when he came up for the third time today.
It was his fourth time.
Was it for a fourth time?
Fourth time. He hit a single, yep.
And a lot of texts from like Brian and Brian, I apologize if I butchered this. King Cardine, maybe, but Brian texting in to say, looks like we'll get the win, but at least against at least 26 other teams in the league would have been yet another inning-ending double play by Vladdy in the first. I'm done watching Mr. Lollygagger. And I see another one here from Tom in Nova Scotia. Vladdy's a showboat. Chris in Calgary, he hit into a double play and dogged it to first. The throw was wild, and he only beat it to the throw to the bag after that. So a lot of texts about Vladdy. And yes, the first two ABs, he gets aboard safely. He did dog it in the line into the first inning, and he really only made it because the throw was airmailed to first. In the second, he hit into what was probably going to be another double play, but CJ Abrams, it looked like he bobbled the transfer on the throw, and he kind of dropped the ball when I think it was Varsho getting to second base.
Correct.
And he kind of, I don't know if Abrams was bothered by it because they looked like they almost, not that they collided, but they were very close to each other.
Yeah.
When Abrams' right hand was taking the ball out of the glove, as he was doing that with his foot on the bag, Varsho was getting to second base. So it kind of looked like, not that he interfered, but it kind of just looked like he got in his own head a little bit, dropped the ball. Vladdy got aboard first. And then, he gets aboard on a single, which moves Varsho to third. But even on that hit, he hit that ball right on the screws, and the ball just squeaks past. Again, I think it was Abrams.
It was Abrams that short.
And Abrams just looked like he was shaded a smidge too much towards second because he only barely missed that ball.
Yep.
And again, the ball was right on the ground. So I just want to see more from Vladdy, certainly effort-wise when it comes to running up and down the base paths. Because I said this before, Daniele, I don't really care about all the other stuff. Like, I don't care about him yakking it up at first with opposing players. I don't really care if he smiles or doesn't smile. Honestly, I don't really care. That has no material effect on the game. But when he's not running hard to first, or he's hitting into double plays, or he's constantly hitting the ball on the ground, that's when I can get on board with the criticism.
Yeah, I think the play in the first is a tough look for him. Not hustling out of the box and getting down the line. Very fortunate because, if that would have happened and let's say he was, really dogging it, it would have looked even worse for him. I didn't like some of his at-bats today. It's become a recurring theme, obviously, but just chasing bad pitches, laying off pitches that you think you should attack. He had one show. I think he worked himself into a 2-1 count. This was, I believe, his third plate appearance. He flies out to right field, middle fastball, 94 miles an hour. And you're just, I don't know. Like, it's the pitch you want to hit. And he just doesn't do any damage with it. So, this is a guy, 3 home runs through, what are we now, 34 games into this season. Puts him on pace for around 15 homers this year. That's not great. Really is not good. I definitely think there's a lot of criticism that is warranted. He made a great defensive play that he deserves credit for, where he was sliding towards the warning track in foul territory. He was a great defensive play, and he's played pretty solid at first, all things considered. But offensively, you don't like some of the signs. And it really looks like routinely he's late. His timing is off. Whatever it is, he's got to find a timing mechanism that works because especially on fastballs, that 94 mile an hour middle heater, you got to do damage on that. Not saying that's got to be driven out of the ballpark, but Vladdy, that maybe is a ball you can pull down the line, pull to left field for a base hit or extra bases, pull to the gaps instead of it being in a position where he's flying out on a lazy fly ball to right field. That's where I'm looking at. And I think there's a lot of frustration and for the most part, justified. No question.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Adam in North York joining us here on the phones. Adam, what's up? What's on your mind? Welcome to Jays Talk.
Yeah, so I'm going to defend Vladdy not running as hard as he can to first base.